getting ready.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
I think we're live now.
Can you hear us?
I, it seems like people are jumping over from my original stream. Sorry for the scheduling conflict. Me and Felix were trying to figure out that, but YouTube decided to just not let me jump in the other stream.
Well, there we go. You always have problems when you're streaming, especially if you do collab and multi-channel. What did you call this? Multi-channel casting or something?
Simulcasting.
Simulcasting.
Yes.
I don't even know what this is.
So it's a TV term. It's basically when you have the same source going to multiple locations, and it was like, you know what? This seemed like a really cool way for us to just get our two viewers together and you know, hang out. So if you are coming from I Need More Space, please go to youtube.com/whataboutit and subscribe to Felix's channel. He's got amazing like weekly news videos on a lot of Starship, SpaceX. So I love his content. He's one of my great like original sources for just keeping up to date on things when I'm on the go. So anyways, yeah, go subscribe to Felix. He's awesome.
Thanks for the shout out, and the same goes for my people. Where are you sitting? Over there? Over there? I don't even know. That's TJ from I Need More Space. He does absolutely awesome content. If you don't know the guy yet, just ninja his stream. Go in there and subscribe and like and watch him, because he's absolutely awesome. Otherwise, I wouldn't do stuff with him. So it's lots of fun to work with him, and I'm absolutely stoked for tonight. This is absolutely going to be the coolest thing ever. It's the launch of at least of the year, maybe even of the decade, because we haven't had that for a long time. And I mean, I see that so many people have showed up tonight. This is absolutely incredible. The chat's been going on for, I don't know, the last 6 hours or so. I've been chatting in there. I mean, I started chatting in there yesterday evening, actually. So yeah, thank you all for showing up. Check out our channels. If you don't know it yet, check out my channel, check out his channel. And we just decided to go online a little bit earlier because there's so much exciting stuff already happening on the SpaceX stream, and there are so many people waiting. So I kind of convinced TJ to go online a little bit earlier, and it worked. There we go.
Yeah, dude, no, it's fine. I mean, hey, look at this, our second camera angle. Yeah, I was, you know, I felt like I was seeing Bob and Doug walk out of the double doors, and I'm getting, like, goosebumps on my skin. I was like, we have to, like, do something now. We have to do something. Yeah. So if you look now on the stream, it looks like the convoy is, they're going on out to 39A right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely awesome. I just when we weren't online yet, TJ was racing with setting up scenes and all kinds of stuff, because this is actually pretty difficult what we're doing tonight. And I had time to watch the SpaceX stream, and I always commented and said, oh no, they're getting into the Teslas, and what I would give to be in one of those Teslas right now, and they wouldn't have to ask me a second time if I wanted to go up to the ISS, even on this flight. I think the capsule is sound, the system is proven, and I'm hoping that the weather is going to hold for tonight. It looks like they're going to pull through with it, and it doesn't look like it's raining right now, but this is really hard to tell. So
yeah, on with these cameras, it's just so hard, especially with the long lenses. The rain just kind of blends into a mush. Yeah, it was kind of funny when we're watching this footage. It's like I feel like we've seen, me and you have seen a ton of it already, because I don't know, we've been looking at SpaceX footage for years, and especially in the last couple of weeks, more and more rehearsal footage is coming out, and kind of like you kind of get used to looking at it. And now that we're seeing it for real, I don't know why it's hitting me. Like it's making more of an impact on me now than it ever has before. But it's just real, because we're going to space today. If everything works out, knock on wood, you know, we're going to space today, man.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. I really hope that this is going to work. And it's, I mean, it's incredible that this is on the same day I'm doing my 1-year anniversary for the channel. When I first saw that they're going to launch on May 27th, I was like, all right, that's going to be a night. A little note for everybody on my channel, and maybe even on TJ's channel. We're going to wrap up this collaboration stream, I think, 20 minutes into the launch. So once the booster has landed and the capsule is in flight, and I am going to start my after party then on my channel. I'm just going to keep the stream's going to keep running. It's going to go black for 15 seconds or so, and I'm going to start it up again on my system, and then we're going to go through the night and watch Bob and Doug sit in the capsule. It's so surreal. I'm really, really hoping that this is going to happen.
Yeah, I promise I'm going to try to hang as long as I can, but I have some external commitments that won't be able to allow me to stay on like forever. So I really wish I could join the party throughout the night, but it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I know your folks are really excited about all of this.
The guy is a dad, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a dad now. So yeah, man. So things are, you could say, a little different. So it looks like Bob and Doug are pulling up to the base of the tower. Fun fact, everybody, in some research on the 39A tower for a recent video I did, turns out the top of the 39A tower is actually just the top of the tower used for the Saturn V. Like, they literally just took the tower off of the mobile, you know what I'm talking about? The mobile...
The gantry.
Yes. They just cut the top off and made that 39A.
Wow.
So that tower is literally the tower that was used for several Apollo missions, then the shuttle, and now SpaceX. So the amount of heritage at this pad, outside of just literally the pad, is like, I don't know, it's amazing. There's a ton of history here.
Yeah, I just got a reminder from one of my moderators that our audio seems to be not completely in sync. Can you fix that anyway, or is this just because we're going through so many servers that
is our voice? Is it our voice and our audio? Is that a sync?
Yeah, the picture and the audio seems to be not in sync. That at least that's what my moderators told me. I have this super fancy flashy light here next to me, and whenever there's a problem, because I've already had so many problems in my life on streams that I actually have a lamp here now that my moderators can tell me if there's a problem. By the way, they've just arrived.
Okay, hold on.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I remember Bob.
Look at this.
Which I listened to
wing doors opening up.
So here's what they chose.
Look at that rocket standing there. Absolutely awesome. I really, but look at the weather.
Someone recommended it, which is super
I wish I
cool.
could blow those clouds away.
They are back. Then they also listened to the elevator.
I
music.
really,
try lowering the bit rate, possibly. That may solve it.
And
I don't know if that's the problem. I think it's just delay between my stream going to you and then going to yours and my stream. I don't know if that's possible to fix this.
Is it can one of your moderators go to my stream and see if they're seeing it on that end as well?
They just heard you.
Because I'd like to you what?
They just heard you. They're going to do that.
Oh, okay. Because if it's happening on my stream, then that's eliminating the caster who we're using for our restream provider.
Well, let me just. Everybody's saying the audio is good. Maybe just my moderator was overreacting.
If they think the audio is good.
Many people are saying it's just fine. So
yeah, some people on my stream say it's very slightly off, which I'm going to be okay with.
Yeah, same here. It's really hard to fix because we're doing a stunt tonight here with sharing a stream and then broadcasting that to 2 different channels isn't the easiest task if you look at the technical background. So we're doing a good job here.
Yeah. And so viewers are aware, we do have a countdown on the bottom right. That is pretty rough. That's going to be within a minute of the real countdown. Because they may say like 4:33, but it might be like 4:33:21 or something. So that's just a rough countdown timer I built, so we could just kind of keep a rough track of where we were in the countdown, because it's good because they're showing here in the feed no countdown yet.
Exactly, and it's, by the way, the coolest animated countdown I've ever seen, so don't play it down. Love that thing.
It took me forever to rotoscope that dragon. I literally took the rotating dragon that NASA and SpaceX put out and rotoscoped the whole thing so that I could use it as an overlay, because they sent it out with a black background.
You gotta send me that later
will.
when we're done. That thing is absolutely awesome. Love it.
I got a full screen one here somewhere.
I'm aware of, but
So it
their
looks
names
like I'm
aren't
trying to figure out
listed.
what's going on here. They got out of the car.
Yeah.
Trying to find out what suit that you have. You know, I guess it's only 2.
And then they're getting in again.
Up to 7 astronauts, all right?
Dragon is capable of carrying 7, but for NASA,
It's just 4. Okay.
Another
Please stay.
Yeah, don't leave.
I'm gonna call them the doors.
Please don't leave.
Sure.
That was not.
Oh, but look at that weather. It's like
Yeah, it's
pouring
pretty ominous.
everywhere. I would
Okay,
actually, guys, I would be surprised if there was a launch tonight. I don't want to be the boo guy, but this looks tough. But there's the entry anyway, so I think they're just gonna drive further. Maybe they had the position wrong or something. Because in the wet dress, they parked right there.
Well, you know, Bob got out. I think it was just Bob that got out in that building. I wonder if he had to use the bathroom.
Oh yeah, it could be.
Know.
They're gonna spend a long time in that capsule, so
Yeah, I mean, get it out.
That's the first question I always have when I think about that coast phase towards the ISS. I'm like, oh my god, how are they going to do that? Well, they let go, of course, but damn. And by the way, pointing out the license plate ISS bound is absolutely epic. When you tweeted those, I saw them for the first time when you tweeted them. I love those license plates.
You know, just feel bad for these guys when they want to lean back. They have to like put their whole back.
It's really hard.
And I don't know if you
But though the suits are giving a lot of freedom of movement.
Sure. What I love is that the gloves. I mean, yeah, the tuck in is a little weird, but they don't have to actually decouple them like they had to do on older suits and then couple them back in. Like it's hard to forget it, and it's one less thing. God forbid there's an emergency in orbit, like it's just all there.
Yeah.
It's just slide in.
Absolutely. David, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very, very much. This is all, like on the last stream, everything you sent me in super chats is gonna go into the 4K camera, because that's my next big upgrade, and that thing is really, really expensive. And so, yeah, I'm fundraising for the 4K camera. So thank you, David. This is absolutely awesome.
That's huge. It's worth it. It's worth it. It really bumps the production value, and you get some extra camera angles.
It is expensive.
Oh, yeah. They're nuts.
But the first time I rode in that elevator, I was like, whoa, we're really moving in this.
Pull some G's.
A little bit of a jolt
Right.
when it first goes.
What level is this? 245 feet
That's
level?
255. Okay, so
55, yep.
the 255-foot level is where the gaseous vent arm was on the space shuttle. Basically, that cap that was on top of the external tank.
Yep.
The crew access arm for the shuttle was at the 195-foot level before. So the True Dragon's access arm is 70 feet higher. So so it was good that they had the elevator already there for the gaseous vent arm, but then they have to go up a flight of stairs because they're actually not high enough yet.
Didn't even know that. Yeah. Cool. So they were able to easily adapt it.
Yeah,
basically.
so they just added a flight of stairs. I think the staircase was there already, actually, because this is technically where they're going is like half level. It's like 255.
And those are the
And then the
stairs,
half level,
where I
then I
mentioned
think
they're at
270 is the
255-foot level right now.
275 is the
They
next
said
highest
that
level.
right. And now they're heading
Yeah.
up the stairs.
Again, thank you for the super chat.
That's a level that will take
Dougal and Steven, thank you. And Chester became a member. Absolutely awesome. Thank you very much for the support. It means a lot to me. Thank you. The stream tonight is going a little bit different because there's so much happening. Normally, my viewers are used to me doing like 2 or 3 hours of Q&A before, and that's not really possible tonight. But that's going to happen in the after party, I promise. Once all of this action is done, we're going to go into slow mode, and I'll answer a lot of questions, of course, again, and we'll see how that goes. Look at the worm. This looks so stylish. I mean, this is absolutely awesome.
And at the top right of your screen where you see them, there's actually a phone right up there.
I want this to happen, please. Everything's wet over there, and the clouds in the distance. There were rain showers,
I
and
feel bad. There's like 20 people waiting on my other link still.
It's funny, isn't it? Leland, tell us about the phone. What's the significance of the phone up there?
Yeah, I mean, you can call family members that you maybe weren't able to come to the launch, and in this case,
fairing catcher is back in the harbor. I see here. This is a mystery, I think. Oversight took a picture. The fairing catcher, one of the fairing catchers, is back in the harbor.
Absolutely.
So that could mean that they don't want to catch the fairings. Oh, that doesn't have fairings.
Doesn't have
Wait a
fairings.
second.
You can can see them.
But what?
Why did you
Well,
send
you
me
know
the
what they
picture?
were going to use it for was in the event of a launch abort to retrieve the capsule.
Actually,
So Mystery is back in the harbor.
T-minus 2 hours and 50 minutes right
But
now.
Mystery couldn't retrieve. That would be Go Discovery, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it's Go Discovery.
Mystery, I don't think it was equipped for that.
No,
Yeah,
no,
'cause it
Mystery is
needs,
just a fairing catcher. I totally, like, I'm so used to streaming Starlink launches right now that I was completely into, yeah, and the fairing. There is no fairing, forget what I said. Oversight just saw the Mystery fairing catcher in the harbor.
So the crew is standing in front of the phone right now. There's a phone there.
Could you activate the audio of the two real quick?
Private passengers to station and beyond using Dragon.
That's right. NASA is going to be enabling up to 2 private astronaut missions to visit the space station each year, just as part of our support of a broader economy in low Earth orbit. It's just one of the many ways NASA's opening access for companies.
There's still a lot of time until launch. 2 hours 47 minutes. If you look at the lower right corner, there's a timer. I just picked it up in the chat.
People out there
Another
exploring
super
the
chat.
stars,
Thank you.
the closer we
DB
get to
Crypto.
becoming a multi-planetary
4K on the way.
species.
Yeah, hopefully.
Earlier, we
I'm
showed
really
you a
looking forward to the
first-hand
new
look at where
camera.
you would train if you were to fly with us on board Dragon. But now, let's take a peek inside of the spacecraft itself.
So far,
When we wanted to take Dragon and make it human rated, I
They
think
look
we
like
took
they're
a
at least going to
different
board the
approach to
capsule and
spaceship
then
design than has
probably
previously been
wait
done,
for
because we wanted this to feel like a 21st century.
Last
So,
minute review.
we wanted it to
question here
inspire
while we
another
wait for the
generation
crew.
of astronauts.
Somebody's asking if
Really,
we are
everything
sure
when you
the
look
launch
at
is going to happen. No,
Dragon
we're not
was
sure the
driven
launch is going to
by
happen.
function. We
Our gut
took
is that they're
into
probably
account
going to
everything
take this
from
down
the
to the
placement
finish
of all
line.
the cargo supplies
see if
to
weather
the
holds
light
out.
rail on the top, doubled as a handhold. Probably one
That's
of the
My
gut
gut
biggest
actually tells me
features
that
of
there's not
Dragon
going to be
are
a
the
launch
touchscreens
tonight,
on
but
the
that's a
inside.
terrible thought, so I'll just push that away.
Yeah.
The weather just really doesn't look good, and I think they're not going to risk anything tonight, and
The vice president is there. They got a lot of people there, and I think that they're just want to like, hey, if it's a 1 in 100 chance, let's just get the stack together and get everything ready. And if the window is, but that slim chance is a possibility, they'll pull the trigger. But I'm with Felix on the possibilities here.
well, we'll see. We'll see. If there wasn't any possibility, they wouldn't let them board right now. So there is the chance that we see the launch tonight, and if we don't, we're in it for a second time. So that's not so bad either, and we'll just have to wait and see. I got another super chat from Alan. Thank you very, very much, and happy birthday to the channel. Yes, 1 year, one epic year, absolutely awesome.
While we're hanging here, Felix, do you want to show your video?
Sure, why not? I've prepared. Sometimes I'm having a hard time finding the right words for this kind of stuff, and so I did what I do best. I prepared a video, a 1 year anniversary trailer. If you want to, right now might be the time, because I think they're just gonna do their signing and doing selfies and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, go for it.
Let's do it, man. All right.
My name is Felix and I am your host for today's episode of What About It? So let's dive right into the exciting news topics.
I'm hype.
There we go.
That was pretty
Hope
smooth.
you liked it.
I think
Yeah,
we pulled
thank
that
you.
off.
Yeah, we did it. It played. So thank you very much, everybody, for doing this year with me. And absolutely, I'm stoked. When I did this video, the reason why it's pumping so much and why I use that aggressive music is just because it's exactly what I feel about when I think about that year. So, but they entered the capsule. And I might be showing the trailer again later on, but we've got something busy here. They're suiting up, and they got the connectors on the legs. I got the question a lot of times before how these suits actually connect, because on the NASA suits you have these bulky connectors on the chest, and they have this sleek solution with the connector on the leg, and so you don't really see the connection when it's not connected. There's something covering it, and it's basically invisible.
It's on their right thigh, and they have like a little patch covering for it. When they're walking around, you barely can notice it, and then they just literally just slide the umbilical into the leg. It's like you didn't even see it here.
And then they have an iPad on the other leg, and they're actually getting ready. I'm so hoping that this is gonna play out tonight. This is absolutely epic.
You know, I'm curious about what the decision was with the White Room team. The pad team being in all black flight suits and not the typical white. And the reason why you typically use white is so you can see if you're bringing like dirt or things that's on you, right? There's like a practical reason for wearing all white. I see the aesthetics being black. I guess NASA just didn't think it was that big of a deal after doing it for 50 years. Maybe they realized it wasn't really worth it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. It's basically the same reason as for medical personnel, why they are at least in bright colors, so you can actually see if there's dirt on it. But they obviously trust their washing machines. It's all black. I don't know why they chose that, though.
I just got a question on my stream. Where is the space gal, Emily Calandrelli? They are coming, I promise. Actually, Emily and Amy are like doing TV interviews right now. We are part of their roundabout. And then you may have noticed that our thumbnails have changed. So Joe Barnard was scheduled to be with us today, but some things came up. So Marcus House, our favorite Australian from down under, will be joining for the tail end of the stream leading up to the launch. So we've got a lot of fun people coming on board and a lot of great topics to cover. You know, this is one of the more exciting points of seeing everybody suit up, and then they're going to be sitting in the capsule for almost 2 hours waiting for the countdown. So we're going to fill that with some great interviews for you all.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a schedule tonight. We actually had to schedule it down to the minute because of them having a few other things. They're pretty busy tonight. I'm getting a lot of super chats here. I have to thank Night Fox. I have to thank Ticey Bear. I have to thank Mike. I'm gonna do it for you, of course, Mike. Gwynny. There you go. I have to thank Highlander, Framrick. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. This is absolutely awesome.
Hey man, you deserve all the love. Congrats.
And if you've got the time and if you've got a little bit of money, give TJ a coffee. Hop over to his channel and give him a super chat.
I appreciate it. I'm just happy y'all are with me today.
Yeah, it's absolutely epic.
My stream, do you find that your YouTube backend isn't always update? Because when I look at my backend, it shows one number of people viewing, and then when I actually go to the video, it shows my backend shows 5 people, and then the front end shows 140 people.
You know what? I tend to not look at that because I get nervous everything above like 200 people. So on the first stream I ever did, I think, or it was the second one, was the Star Hopper. And I think it was, the first one was the Star Hopper, the second one was the presentation, and I hit like 5,000, and one time I hit even 10,000 people, and I made the mistake of looking at that number, and I freaked out, and so I normally just don't look. I look at the chat, and I enjoy that there's lots of people there, and I normally ask them where they're from, and then the chat starts racing, and it's absolutely awesome to see where they all are from. That it's one thing that unites us all, and that's the incredible thing about being a space nerd, as we're called. It's such an epic time right now with so many things going on. We talked about this too before we started the stream. It's gonna keep going like this for at least the next few years are going to be absolutely exciting. We've got Artemis coming up, we got SLS, we got Crew Dragon going into business, we've got the Starship being built, we've got development all over the place, Blue Origin, Rocket Lab. I've done an interview with Peter Beck, and he was saying he wants to explore Venus's upper atmosphere layers for life. That's the kind of stuff that you wouldn't have. It's a private company, and he says he wants to explore the upper layers of Venus. Like 20 years ago, that would have been a major undertaking, billions of funding needed, and so on and so forth. And nowadays, Electron can do that.
Yep.
Which is it's amazing what's happening right now. So yeah, and look at that chat. That's what I mean. We got Florida, Jersey, Dubai, Tampa, Florida, very nice. Malaysia, Sweden.
I mean, just our stream in of itself. You're in Germany and I'm in America. Like,
yeah.
And then
and then we got Marcus from Tasmania. So
Marcus
we got the whole globe.
We've got Los Angeles, Washington D.C. I'm not sure where you're located, Felix, in Germany.
Right in the middle. It's like right in the middle of Germany.
The middle of Germany, and then Tasmania, Australia. So,
yeah.
So like literally, this stream is gonna like do a lap around the globe pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. And if then there's a half a second of delay,
yeah,
that's
sorry.
how it is.
Yeah, no. Me and Marcus were testing earlier, and he looked crystal clear, but there was a little bit of delay, and I was like, I'm gonna account that for the speed of light. It's just what
takes a moment.
Yeah.
Next up, we got to do collaborations with somebody on Mars or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a really big like dish for that, I think.
Yeah. I got another super chat from Miko. Thank you very, very, very much. And I got Eric as well. I'm sorry. I got Eric as well. Thank you, guys, so much. Sorry, they keep me busy.
No, it's totally cool.
And
I'm just checking on my stream health and stuff. I'm like, when you're doing this, so you feel like something's gonna break, but we're doing all right now.
Yeah.
Someone says this stream has better resolution than the official SpaceX stream. Thank you. I'm doing some tricks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not doing what most people do. So
yeah, he's a TV guy. He was going on about all kinds of technical stuff and how I could do it differently on my chats. And after like 2 sentences, he lost me. He knows what he's doing. Definitely.
I try. So okay, real quick on this camera angle, is that a 0G indicator next to? Yeah. Like a
definitely.
Toy.
Or they
Bob.
brought a toy. Exactly. No, that's a 0G indicator.
Well, a toy is a 0G indicator.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something his son gave him.
Maybe.
Because it doesn't look like. I don't know. It looks because before they sent that plush Earth up.
That wasn't an official thing either, though. I mean, they kind of made it an official thing afterwards, because you could buy it actually, but
Right.
I think it wasn't before.
They sold it out like in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Do any viewers have any theories or know anything of what that 0G indicator is? I mean,
Yeah, it
I
would be
wonder if it's even
interesting.
tied down.
That wouldn't make any sense.
Well, they'd usually put a little string on it so it'll float but it won't bounce away.
Yeah.
But I saw
Yeah,
Bob
it
like
better
just
not
pick it
got
up
an-
and put it there.
Imagine the 0G indicator hitting the abort button or something.
Yeah, that would be
wouldn't
tough.
too good. Thanks, Andrew.
If
Thanks,
it's not
Nightbot.
tied up, it would be neat if once stage 1 ends, it would just like bounce off of the chair and just kind of bounce around the cabin, and then stage 2 kicks and it'll be flattened against the wall again.
Yeah, exactly. It goes from 3G acceleration down to 0 in like quarter of a second.
Yeah.
So it could, it's probably wise. They strapped it in. See, they strapped it in.
Okay. All right. Good thing. I was worried about him.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything next to Doug. I think he is.
No.
What that means is 12 years ago wasn't that long
This one 0G indicator is enough.
materials,
Yeah, I suppose.
State-of-the-art, computer processors.
And they're gonna
So
sit there.
really
If this
exciting
launch
sort of
actually
like
happens, they're gonna sit there for the next what, 25 hours? Nah, 26 even.
Well, they'll be
Yeah.
able to move about the cabin. There's some tests they have to do before they get to the station, but yeah, they're going to be sitting there for the next 3 hours.
Yeah. So they're actually gonna move about in the capsule? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so at least from my interview I did with one of the backup crew members, he said that there was some testing they have to do once there's what do you call it? Once they're in a stable orbit, they're gonna unbuckle and they're gonna practice taking off and putting back on their suits in 0G, unassisted and assisted. And then there's random other things in the capsule that they have to test. Like everybody loves to talk about the bathroom. Bathroom's going to get tested. They're going to be testing. Basically, there's handles in different places and there's Velcro in different places that they want to see if they actually place these things in optimal areas. And then also there's cabinet doors throughout the capsule for storage. And I think that they just want to literally go through and open up every door and close every door, make sure like it's performing in 0G or microgravity as they planned for. These are the kind of things they're going to do before they get to station. So they have a pretty busy timeline. And then there's also a rest period built into them going at the station.
Yeah, do you know when they're going to start this activity list?
I don't know. I did not ask. I think the rest period, though, is pretty soon after they get to orbit.
Okay.
So, but I'm not sure. I'm really not. I mean, it would be awesome is if they just keep this angle going. I mean, also, I don't know. I know the toilet is behind them, but they are going to need some privacy. Like they're going to get changed and everything. They're not going to dock to station in these suits. They're going to have these all packed away. They're going to be in their flight suits when they get to station. So they'll go offline, I imagine, for a little bit. But a lot of those things are supposed to happen because there's also not the guarantee that they're going to get to station, but they still have tasks they want to achieve. God forbid, they don't get to the orbit they're looking to. But they are in a stable orbit that allows for them to do these tests. They want to at least be able to do those things outside of going to station.
That was my phone. Give me a second before somebody calls me. There we go. I got more super chats, by the way. I want to real quick at least shout out. I know normally I do this differently. I answer questions and all that kind of stuff, but I like I said, I'm going to do this after the launch. We got Peter Johansson. Thank you very, very much. And we got Florian Behnke. Thank you very, very much. You almost got the same name as one of the guys in the capsule, by the way. Perfect.
The reliability
Absolutely
upgrades.
awesome. Thank you very, very much for the
think
support. This is going to go far with the 4K camera. Thank you.
People probably know
Absolutely
that
awesome.
Dragon has the ability in mid-flight to separate from Falcon.
And we still have people pointing out where they're from. Alaska, Honduras. We're covering the whole globe here today. This is amazing.
I love it when I check my YouTube feed. I'm signed in as I Need More Space. First thing I see is our live stream.
Yes, awesome. That's how it should be. I'm stoked that we have Amy and Emily here today, and that Marcus is going to join us. Joe wasn't able. Private problems, and our thoughts are with him. I don't want to say more here, but Marcus was able to fill in, and I already changed the thumbnail like on short notice because it was like 3 hours or 4 hours before we started the stream that we got to finally know that Marcus is going to join us.
It was only a few hours ago, yeah. I felt bad, but we had Joe booked and Marcus came in the clutch to join us.
We're also going to be doing these checks
sorry,
over
making sure the right
satellite.
camera angle here. And I was like, dude, do you want to join? And he was like, I don't know how to do this, but sure. And we spent like an hour working out the kinks.
I've been trying to tell him for months that he should start live streaming. He's afraid of live streams. I hope he's not listening right now. And I really, really hope that he's going to get used to it today, because Marcus is one of my best friends when it comes to YouTubers. I've been chatting with him for months. We've been helping each other out, and we're planning a collaboration. We've been planning that for months now, but that's the way it goes when you're very, very busy. But it's going to happen, and the script is taking form, and it's a really, really nice topic. And I really, really hope that he's going to enjoy this tonight, so give him a good time. Don't be too harsh. And yeah, if he gets a little practice and loses a little bit of that, yeah, I don't know, the careful attitude towards live streams, he might be doing live streams in the future. So that would be absolutely awesome.
Oh yeah. It's almost like we're just having a conversation, man. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So everybody give him a good time. When he comes on later, you just gotta type stuff like, "Hey Marcus, are you calm? Everything fine with you?"
One other update to share with everybody is we actually do have a launch photographer on location who is going to be setting up a camera for us at the press site. So we'll have a dedicated angle of the Falcon 9. So that's exciting, but it's likely not going to be until significantly closer to liftoff, primarily because it's wet outside and they don't want their camera to get wet. And I don't really blame them.
And it's understandable. I was about to say the weather isn't the best right now, and but yeah, we even got a camera down there. It's amazing what's happening tonight. It's really, really cool. I wish I was sitting in one of those seats right now. I stare at this and I'm like, I'm jealous.
Trying to see what they're saying here.
Dragon Cup. Can you actually hear what they're saying?
I cranked up the volume on the.
And just to further explain some of those voice protocols that you're going to hear, you might be used to hearing Houston Station or Houston Shuttle or Houston Endeavor back when we were flying those specific shuttles. You're going to hear SpaceX Dragon. That's the SpaceX team calling the Dragon team on orbit. And then Bob and Doug will be able to respond.
Okay.
So they're going to continue to configure. We'll get these ground station checkouts momentarily.
Are they going to name these
you're
dragons?
going to hear that very, very unique beeping
I'm
sound.
pretty sure they're not.
And that's been something that's been used
I really, really hope that they're gonna name the starships, because they are going to be long-term use like the space shuttles, and they're going to make history. The first starship that lands on Mars is going to be in the history books, and if it's just called SN-35 or something, that would be a pity. So I really hope that they're going to name those, but I don't think they're going to name the Dragon capsules. They could. But I haven't heard anything. Do you? Do you know anything?
No, I mean, it's very much an American tradition. I know Soyuz, I don't think they name them. But we even name the Progress vehicles and stuff that go up, not the Progress, the Antares that's sent up from Wallops.
Yeah, and the Starliner got named too. Yeah.
Like
the Starliner capsule got named as well.
Yeah. So... I don't know.
I just haven't heard anything. They could, and
I'd be surprised. It wasn't really discussed after the first Starliner mission until they had
Core loud and clear.
Sonny Williams say that they were going to name that capsule
Dragon MD on countdown 1. Com check.
What was the capsule? What was going to be named? I can't remember what they named it.
Jason, we've got
oh, quick, blend over to the SpaceX stream.
Doing great. How you guys doing in there?
I got a super chat. Zagabog.
Stand by for
Thank you very, very much. Great job.
Agreed.
Thanks for the live stream. Loving your channel. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
We all love
Dragon
Felix.
MD on Dragon ground. Com check.
It's the channel birthday. It's a really, really special thing for me today because I've put a lot of work into giving you these episodes, and I'm enjoying it so much. You can barely believe this is absolutely awesome what you're enabling me to do, and so yeah, it's a special day for me.
Mike, we've got you loud and clear.
Somebody was asking.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Gianji Tillet was asking, how do they pilot it inside? So I know there are manual controls, and I think even there's a joystick, right? Or do they do it with a touch screen? Because SpaceX has released that glorious ISS docking simulator, and they said that it is using the same controls as those in the capsule, and that would indicate that they are actually using touch screen controls to control the capsule. But that would be kind of...
So I can speak from some experience here. I had the opportunity of using the Starliner docking simulator about 6 months ago. And the mechanism, the joystick they're using is the same one that was used on Shuttle. If you remember at the back of the Shuttle, on the back of the flight deck, there's the 2 windows and there's this joystick in the middle. That allows them to move freely in space. And basically the way it works is if this is your joystick, you can go down, up, left, right, you can push to go forward, you can pull to slow down.
So we're going to throw it now down to Gary Jordan at Mission Control Houston, who I know is also following along.
Change
Over to you, Gary.
So they do have a similar type of stick on board Dragon.
From Bob and
They
Doug.
can
the handle below the displays, right?
Control Houston, Flight Director Zeb Scoville.
Would that be it? Because there is, I mean, there's nothing next to them there. There is no joystick next to them. Exactly. There is this T-shaped Exactly, there's this T-shaped handle, and I always wondered if that is the control joystick.
Yes. So that's what's in. Doug can pilot it with the computer as well, but they do have a stick there for that kind of stuff.
It gives you much more control than a button on a screen. It's not about the screen being a bad idea, but...
Wow, they have 1 million people watching the NASA coverage. Not including the what about it and I Need More Space streams, but...
Nope. Well, it's a thing that the whole world is... I even saw that contest there with people doing pictures about how they feel about the launch. It's a nice idea, definitely. Before I forget... Cosmic Perspective have approached me with a really nice thing. They want to do a trailer after the launch, so if it happens today, where everybody records their reaction once the rocket takes off, and they want to make a as long as possible trailer showing all the different reactions from people. And I'm obviously going to record myself if the stream is going.
Roll from your camera, man.
Exactly, and I want to encourage everybody else to do that. Just give me a quick second, because they even gave me a hashtag that they want to use, so you can retweet that on Twitter. So the hashtag is #CountdownTogether. Hashtag #CountdownTogether. Record yourself when the rocket is taking off and tweet it, and they are going to pick these countdown together hashtags up and make a trailer out of it. So if you want to be part of that, they make absolutely awesome videos about SpaceX launches, and they're going to come up with something really, really nice. And if you want to be part of it, record yourself and tweet it with the hashtag #CountdownTogether. All right? Good. That's going to be epic. I'm going to be in that thing, definitely. That's a really, really cool idea.
I have a funny story about them. So this past summer in Washington, D.C., we had this the Saturn V put on the side of the Washington Monument, which was amazing. Oh, my God, it was amazing. I went twice.
I bet it was.
Like, you felt the rumble in your chest. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And anyways, oh, my God, the guy who runs Cosmic Perspective.
Yeah, I even met him. I don't remember his name as well.
He was there, and we were apparently like 15 feet apart from each other.
Cool.
And he was rolling there for Cosmic Perspective, and I was rolling for my channel. But I had like the perfect center punched view. I rolled in 4K, and I put it on YouTube. And he saw it, and I sent him the footage because he's using it for a bigger documentary. But I'm like, man, we were like so close physically to each other that night, and we just didn't even, like, I don't know, we just didn't look over and see each other.
Awesome guy. I met him when I met Tim Dodd at Cocoa Beach in Florida. He was just sitting there because they were together doing CRS-20 because he does the telescope tracking for Tim Dodd.
Oh, so you were just here then? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I was in your neighborhood.
Well, somewhat. Yeah.
I watched CRS-20. I went to Kennedy Space Center for 7 days in a row, did every tour available, turned every stone, and then we went down to Boca Chica to see Starship and everything. It was absolutely epic.
I want that jacket that guy's wearing.
I have a similar one. I spent a lot of money at the Kennedy Space Center merch store.
Yeah. It's very easy
really
to do
hard.
that.
Oh yeah, it's really hard to go out there without having serious trouble with your bank account.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Awesome place.
Folks, please let me know if the SpaceX feed's audio is too loud or anything. I'm coming in and out of it as we talk and try to sound up what's going on. So apologies if the mix isn't perfect. I'm trying my best here.
Tim Dodd actually did an awesome video about the countdown to the launch, and I watched it, and now I know exactly what's happening there. Before, I honestly didn't, because this is the first time, and he did a really, really good explanation on that. So if you've got the time after the stream, go over there, watch that video. I think you did one as well, right?
On the countdown, yes. So it's funny, we made these videos like at the same time, didn't know we were doing it, but I worked on mine for about 2 months with folks on my Discord. Awesome. And basically, I wanted to do literally hour by hour, 24 hours leading up to the moment of launch. NASA didn't have all of that, but they were willing to connect me with an astronaut and do an interview with them to kind of clarify the timeline, and then as more information came out, so I was able to do a lot of research. But anyways, my video really focuses on from the time they wake up to liftoff, where Tim's timeline starts from when they suit up to when they get to the station.
Yeah.
And also mine is a little bit different. I give a little more historical context to things and stuff. So we just each have our own styles of telling these stories. So Tim's is definitely worth watching. It was on the trending tab, and mine was only put up yesterday, and it's got, I don't even know how many views, but quite a few people have watched it. So, but anyways, yeah, if you want a much more full scope picture of what the crew is going through, I would highly suggest watching both. And Tim's always gonna be much more technical than me. I'm much more about like the human factor of stuff, that's just kind of like
he's
my
about
spin.
this screw turns left and this screw turns right, but he does a really good job at doing so, and his knowledge is absolutely awesome. But this is the perfect example for when you read through your comments and people say you just copy somebody else. No, we don't. I don't even have.
You think
time
I would have
to
saw
watch other
Tim's
people's
video
stuff.
and then spit that out like a day later? Like that's not how it works.
Nope.
That was an edit. That was an edit for like a week, not including the months of research and like the research including the writing. Oh, looks like we got we got an interview here coming up with Elon and Jim.
Elon, yeah. Let's be quiet for a second here.
Let's spin this up here.
Start off with you, Jim, and ask you a couple questions here. I want to ask you first of all. It's been almost 3 years that you were sworn in as NASA administrator, and you knew from the very first day that you would be right here at the Kennedy Space Center in this moment when a commercial partner was ready to launch. Tell me what it's like to be leading NASA at this very moment.
So I want to be clear. I did not know that when I got sworn in. I will tell you, a lot of folks said it couldn't be done. But of course, as soon as I got the job, Elon and I have had a number of conversations. Elon committed that this was something that SpaceX could achieve. We've had challenges. We've had setbacks. We've seen catastrophic losses of capsules and challenges with parachutes. What's that? On the ground, uncrewed. I want to be really clear. Tests. But that's what's unique about SpaceX. SpaceX can do things that NASA historically has not done. They test, they fail, they fix, they fly, they test, they fail, they fix, they fly, until the point where we are today, where not only is SpaceX comfortable, but NASA is comfortable. We are ready to go. But if you would have told me even 2 years ago we'd be right here, I might have even been questioning it then. But this is a monumental achievement. It's a Herculean task by the SpaceX team, which we're very grateful for, and also by the NASA team that has been working hand in glove with them to get to this point.
And it's good we have Jim and Elon both here to fact check each other, so that's good. Thank you for that. Elon, in 2002, when you started SpaceX, many in the aerospace industry didn't take SpaceX seriously.
Yeah,
you remember what that felt like. Yet here you are, you just sent 2 astronauts in a car made by your car company to Launchpad 39A with a spacecraft made by your space company. And now they're launching the International Space Station. So I'm wondering for you, in this moment, do you just pinch yourself thinking, is this really happening?
This is a dream come true, I think, for me and everyone at SpaceX. This is not something that I ever thought would actually happen. So when starting SpaceX in 2002, I really did not think this day would occur. I expected 90% chance we'd fail to even get to low Earth orbit with a small rocket. So somebody told me in 2002 that I'd be standing here with the NASA administrator, meeting the astronauts, and we've got a rocket and spacecraft on pad 39A, the best pad in the world, which is it's an honor to be there. I would have thought, man, I don't know what you're smoking, but it's not. like no way is that true. You know, and so it is. Say it's even a dream come true. I didn't even dream that this would come true. Let me put it that way. You know, but it is. I am incredibly excited to be here on behalf of the SpaceX team. And as Jim said, this really is the culmination of an incredible amount of work by the SpaceX team, by NASA, and by a number of other partners in the process of making this happen. It's really, you can look at this as the result of 100,000 people, roughly, when you add up all suppliers and everyone working
that guy rocks.
Incredibly hard to get to make this day happen. So it's really hard to believe that this is real.
And you're here, and it's amazing, and many of us have been amazed as we've watched you accomplish these things over the years. Jim, back to you. This is all about the commercialization of space. And so in the early going for Commercial Crew Program, it wasn't something NASA was used to. You know, Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, Shuttle, NASA gave the designs and the contractors went out there and built it. This is different.
It is.
They're building it now. What were some of the hurdles that you had to overcome to get to this point?
Well, I think getting people to recognize that when the government provides both the demand and the supply, you're limited in what you're able to do. And of course, back when this program was initiated under Charlie Bolden, General Charlie Bolden, Astronaut Charlie Bolden, Congress was not
I met Charlie
supportive,
3 times,
and did not provide the proper
possibly one of the
funding.
nicest human beings on the planet.
And yet he persevered. He pushed forward. And now I think everybody recognizes we have to commercialize space. We've had success now with commercial resupply of the International Space Station. Now we've got commercial crew to the International Space Station. Eventually we need commercial space stations. So what we're using the International Space Station for right now, we're proving that we can compound pharmaceuticals in a way that you cannot do on Earth. We're able to create immunizations in a way you cannot do on Earth. We're printing human organs in 3D. Right now it's just tissue, but eventually we're going to print human organs in 3D using adult stem cells, your skin cells, your own DNA. It's going to transform how we do medicine here on Earth. We're creating advanced materials that you can only create in the microgravity of space, things like an artificial retina for the human eye. So if you have macular degeneration, you don't have to lose your eyesight. Bottom line is this: these markets are the future. And when they materialize, and they are materializing because of the work of NASA, we're going to see capital investment, not just into launch, but also into habitation. And that ultimately is what's going to be.
You know what's too bad is I've tried to do videos on
Elon, in getting all of that going, the ISS and all the activity that takes place on board, it's key that this Crew Dragon operate on a regular basis. As the chief engineer, what were some of the biggest hurdles you had to overcome to get your spacecraft ready to fly this mission?
Well, the spacecraft and the rocket have gone through literally thousands and thousands of tests and reviews, both by SpaceX, by NASA, by third parties. We've also, as Jim was alluding to, we've done a lot of flights. So one of the things I think that's very helpful about this flight, about what we're about to do, is that the rocket has flown many times. In fact, even in this, essentially this configuration, it's flown about 20 times. So that means we really have, I don't want to tempt fate, but a well-proven rocket. And we've flown Crew Dragon to the space station once successfully and brought it back. We've done a tremendous amount of testing on the ground, and when you do the testing on the ground, you always push the limits. So you want to try, you push it way beyond what you'd expect in flight. So sometimes you'd break it because you kind of want to break it on the ground during testing to see where the limits are. So this is a result, like I said, of thousands of tests, of thousands of design hours, and a tremendous number of smart people working incredibly hard to make this day happen.
And you've got 2 astronauts on board now.
Yes.
Do you feel that responsibility?
Yes, absolutely. I felt it, I think, most strongly when I saw their family just before coming here.
And did you say anything
Yeah, it is.
that you can share?
So we've done everything we can to make sure your dad's come back okay.
Thanks for sharing that with us. Jim, you had some words with the astronauts. What was your take on how they were feeling?
That's strong stuff.
I will tell you, you know, Doug Hurley, Marine Corps test pilot,
stuff.
of course, veteran of multiple space shuttle missions. Bob Benkin,
About it.
flight
Especially
test
Elon.
engineer, United States Air Force, again,
These
veteran of
astronauts drove a
multiple
Tesla
space shuttle missions.
down to a
This is not
launch
new to
pad
these
that
guys.
is solely used by
you know,
SpaceX,
all I could
to
do
a
is
rocket
convey
that's
to
built by
them
SpaceX, to a
how much
capsule that's
all of
built by
America
SpaceX, and
appreciates
they're going to launch to the
that the
SpaceX
entire world is
ISS. Haha,
watching,
that's the only thing
and
missing.
just how grateful
And
we are
if they
as
continue
a
like this,
nation.
they're going to achieve
I
that
will
too.
tell you, their demeanor
It's absolutely
loose.
amazing what Elon
They are
Musk is
ready to
doing there.
go. They
There's
were
no doubt
joking
about it.
around.
If this works today,
They're
he's going to
talking
set the
about
bar
what they had
for everybody
breakfast
else.
and how it might come up later. It was
Steak and eggs? Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Right. So it was nice to see. They are in their element, and we are just so grateful and proud of them.
I know he's playing it cool, but like you said, they're riding on a rocket built by SpaceX in a capsule in suits on a pad. The software, everything is run by his company. Like the weight on your shoulders there, you know, like it's. I mean, they've performed. It's been go time for them for years, but now like this is just different level. You know, talking to his astronauts' kids.
It took us
Again, especially for Elon, because it's not the only thing he's doing. He's also responsible for Tesla. He's developing starships right now. He's I mean, that is not human.
How does he do? I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it.
Fundamentally, it's a pressure.
I don't know either. The guy is a phenomenon. He's a miracle. He's absolutely
puff up,
incredible
when it's under pressure, and it's got to withhold. It's got to handle all that pressure. So it took us many iterations to get the suit to. We really wanted to look great. Fundamentally, what it's about is like we want to inspire kids to say that one day they want to wear that uniform. They want to wear that spacesuit. And get them fired up. I want to be an astronaut. I want to work on aerospace engineering. I want to advance space flight. And I think what today is about is reigniting the dream of space and getting people fired up about the future and excited. It's just one of those things that I think everyone from all walks of life, from all parts of the political spectrum in the United States and elsewhere should be really excited that this is a thing that is made by humans for humans, and it's just a great, exciting, inspiring day, and it's one of those things that makes you glad to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know?
Functional and inspiring. And there's one on a model right over there, and you got me so excited. I might run over there and put that thing on, Elon.
Yeah. They're custom tailored, by the way.
They are.
So
it's not gonna fit
I
me.
think you won't fit in that one, but we could make one that you would fit in.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, because I'm 6'8", so you're gonna have to do a lot of sewing.
Well, and should the
I
Dragon.
really wish they wouldn't cut away from them. I know the astronauts are like important, but they're just chilling.
Yes.
This commercial thing, I'm getting excited.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm ready to fly, Jim.
Yeah.
Sir.
We've got another social media question we're going to ask. Ashton J wants to know, how do you think that launching astronauts on American soil for the first time since 2011 will revolutionize future missions?
Yeah, so what we're doing here is
These
unlike
questions from social media are such a mixed bag.
We are not purchasing, owning, and operating the hardware. We are turning to commercial industry. And going back to the spacesuits, it's the same for the capsule, it's the same for the rocket. We did not tell industry what to build. We gave them top-level requirements. We said, here's the requirement for payload. Here's the requirement for safety. And then we let the innovators, commercial industry, American commercial industry, innovate. And they came up with solutions that had never been dreamed of before. And that's the success of this program. So we're really revolutionizing how we do spaceflight. And I really think when we look into the future, we're going to see these models of doing business with public-private partnerships apply not just to low Earth orbit, which is what we're doing today, but we're taking this model to the moon and even onto Mars.
And I hear something about Tom Cruise shooting a movie up at the International Space Station. Is that right?
I'll tell you what I told Elon just yesterday, and that is this. People ask me about Tom Cruise all the time now, and the answer is yes. We would love Tom Cruise to fly to the International Space Station and make a movie. I'm all for that, and we're going to do what we can to make that happen. But you should know this. There was a day when I was in elementary school, and I saw the movie Top Gun. And from that day, I knew that I was going to be a Navy pilot. It's just the way it was. The goal here, and this is what we're doing today. Exactly. And Elon is all about this.
Get the kids fired up about wanting to wear that spacesuit. That's exactly. Wanting to fly that, go to orbit, go to the moon, go to Mars, reigniting the dream of space, and just getting, people of all walks of life, young, old, excited about the future. Excited. I think anyone who has within them the spirit of exploration should love what's going on today.
And if we can get Tom Cruise to inspire an elementary kid to join the Navy and be a pilot, why can't we get Tom Cruise to inspire the next Elon Musk? That's what we need. We need a new generation of many Elon Musks, and that's what this launch is about today. I want to say, speaking of this inspiration piece, it's not by chance that we have the Secretary of Education of the United States of America here. This is all about the next.
That's a very good non-answer to the question.
Well, but it is a good answer, exactly. And he's right.
Is that it ended. What we're doing now,
I think that's a really, really good idea to send Tom Cruise up there.
But he didn't confirm that they're doing it.
Capabilities that are coming online.
Very good.
Didn't he? I think he said, yeah, well, if he wants to go, we'd be more than happy to have him. So I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise wants to go up there. I would want to.
It's like, this is going to...
Thank you, Dave.
Capture the public imagination, have them see
cool I would love to be there.
Real space stations. It's like, I think I'd want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, like I said, you think it was like, this is really just the beginning, because we want to go from low Earth orbit, we want to go back to the moon, and the moon to stay, have a moon base, like Moon Base Alpha, and have build a city on Mars and be a spacefaring civilization out there among the stars. This is a super exciting future that I think that's the kind of thing where you're like, can't wait for it to happen,
If you can't get excited after listening to you guys, I'd say you need to have your pulse checked.
Yeah.
Awesome
Elon
interview.
Musk, SpaceX CEO and Chief Engineer, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jim Bridenstine, we appreciate you leading NASA this time.
Yeah, I got a few super chats to anybody I didn't mention here. I'm sorry. This is obviously a crazy filled launch preparation there right now with lots of really, really nice interviews and stuff. But I saw it all, and I wrote to anybody I could write to. Thank you. Thank you. This is absolutely awesome. Thank you for the support.
Like what they're doing is, what are they doing? So they perform a leak check. There's a mechanism there called a side hatch mechanism. That is what actually closes the hatch and seals it. And what we'll do is perform a leak check on that for a few minutes to make sure.
And somebody's saying I'm too loud on the stream.
Really, really well.
You're too
Is that
loud?
correct? Somebody's saying that. It's just one person, but could anybody confirm? We can turn it down.
I have you right at the. Me and you are supposed to be peaking right around at the same spot. So
All right.
they must have just had their audio hot.
It's just my mighty voice.
Yeah, it does compete though when I have the SpaceX feeds.
No, people are saying I'm too loud. And others are saying I'm never too loud. I don't know. People are confusing me. Not too loud, not too loud, not too loud, too loud, too loud, no, not too loud. You are loud. What?
I mean,
somebody's saying I'm louder by 10 to 20% than you are.
Okay. Well, hopefully what I just did fixed it. I just increased me even more. So
don't want to kill people's ears.
I promise we're not peaking though. So
good. I'm sorry, people. I talk really quiet now.
Your lovely voice could never be too loud, says thoughtfully on my stream. So. Although I did just hop over to your stream, and I saw Ishan Rayhan said, "Hey TJ, I am so pumped." Rayshawn, I am pumped as well.
Yes. Yeah, we are definitely pumped about this. That's really hard not to be pumped. I'm just hoping that the weather is going to hold, that this is going to play out tonight, because I really want this to get going. That is absolutely awesome.
I love this view. I love the over the shoulder view.
Yeah.
It's like,
Same here.
what does it say on the screen?
Oh, in a few pictures they took recently on the trainings, you could actually see what it said on the screens, and it was really interesting. I thought about dissecting that on an episode, but that would have been super nerdy.
Well, if we have time to kill, we might be able to do it here.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm looking through the official images right now to see if I can.
There are a few where you can actually see a few things, abort systems, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. There's just so many pictures coming out from this mission. It's like sensory overload.
Yeah. Yeah. Scott Manley is going to have a lot of fun dissecting these screens. Somebody just said, Oleg just said that on my, and you're absolutely correct. Absolutely.
It's right in the middle where both crew members could use it if they needed to.
No, I was making a joke that they get Netflix and Disney Plus on these screens. If you took me literally, I was making a joke.
No, clearly it's Amazon Prime, Felix.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Clearly it's Prime now.
Maybe they're using DVDs.
Yeah.
No, they are busy and very, very concentrated. So they, even on the trip, like TJ said, they have a full program of things they are doing. So they're not going to be bored at all. If you go up to the ISS on a never-tested spacecraft, you're not bored.
Touch screens.
Here comes my boy Leland.
These displays and these buttons, and it was one of those moments when I'm looking at this now, when I had knee boards that had procedures and things on there, and the procedures are now all run in that middle screen, and the malfunctions and the things that you do to mitigate problems with the vehicle if something happens, it's all controlled right there with the two of them. And so it's a radical departure from what we did with the shuttle, but it's again ushering in this new era of space travel.
For post-ingress brief and a check on how that suit air feels about now.
I filmed a documentary with Leland about 2 years ago about his story.
And an announcement about hatch closer.
Copy. Well, today we are not tracking any issues on Dragon and F9 currently. For a weather update, the weather line that is overhead, which is what you saw when you were ingressing, is now moving offshore. The next radar return is a cell over Orlando, which is expected to be our decision gate for today, and that is currently eroding.
That's good news. Thank you.
Copy. And then one additional item, the Cabo, the orbit site, remains as briefed, so no change there. But I do want to make you aware that that is slightly west of Cabo for go weather. So you just want to target the longitude if needed.
Weather getting better.
Okay, Dragon copy, slightly
Cell
west.
is
We'll
eroding.
target the
That's always a good
longitude, and the suit air has cooled off, so we
could you
appreciate
turn
that
up
as
the
well.
stream a little bit? The volume of the stream?
Copy, outstanding. Let us know if you have
Pull
any
it up.
questions, and we'll keep you posted as the closeout team completes the leak check.
Dragon copy.
Okay.
I have it pumped to 15 plus.
So what we
dB.
actually heard was a little bit more discussion about the weather.
Give me a feedback on the chat if it's still too silent or something. It's really hard for us, by the way, to find out if they're saying anything important at the moment, or if. But we're managing. We're trying to get the important stuff out. Awesome. CJ, thank you very, very, very much.
I'm trying.
You're just joining us. We're at T-minus 1 hour,
Somebody told me
55
that
minutes
I'm-
and
that I'm-
counting, and we're
No, I
expecting
said
an announcement
CJ,
to confirm
but you're
hatch
doing an
closure
absolutely awesome
in just
job
a few
as well.
seconds.
CJ gave me a super chat, and somebody
Thanks,
told me
CJ.
that I look like Khan from Star Trek. Yeah, people told me that.
Dragon,
Okay,
SpaceX,
thanks for the feedback on the
for
stream volume.
contracts with Falcon 9.
Ah,
Go ahead.
I really hope this thing's gonna.
Okay, we are ready for that at that time. If you are ready.
We are ready.
All stations up on countdown net for section 54.49. F9 responsible engineer communication check with the crew. Start with guidance, navigation, and control.
Dragon GNC on countdown 1, comm check.
GNC Dragon, loud and clear.
GNC loud and clear. Stand by for comm check by the propulsion engineer.
Dragon, prop on countdown 1, comm check.
Prop Dragon, loud and clear.
Prop, loud and clear. Stand by for comm check with the avionics engineer.
Dragon, avionics on countdown 1, comm check.
Avionics Dragon, we have good loud and clear.
Avionics loud and clear. Stand by for comm check with the ground segment engineer.
Dragon ground segment on countdown 1, comm check.
Ground segment Dragon, loud and clear.
Ground segment loud and clear. Stand by for comm check by launch control.
Dragon, launch control on countdown 1, comm check.
Launch control Dragon, loud and clear.
Launch control loud and clear. Stand by for comm check by the chief engineer.
Dragon, chief engineer on countdown 1, comm check.
Bala, Dragon has you loud and clear.
Chief engineer, loud and clear. This completes the F9 responsible engineer comm checks. Dragon, chief engineer on Dragon to ground.
Go ahead, sir.
I was just doing a comm check on this loop. Good luck, guys, and buckle in.
I just can't wait.
Thanks to you and the F9 team, Bala. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bala.
Looks like Doug needs to go down to his right leg, his right thigh, to use to trigger his microphone.
So we just heard a series of comm checks there,
like.
and Lauren, I don't know if you want to describe a little bit more about why that's important. And we heard the acronym GNC. They said guidance, navigation, and control really quickly, and then went back to the acronym GNC. Can you kind of explain to folks what that means?
Yeah, the launch chief engineer, Bala, as you heard them
like
thanking him towards the end, initiated a comm check with all of the different subsystems that those engineers that are on console and those operators today, and talking with the crew, making sure that they were able to communicate with them bidirectionally, and just handing that check off from all of the different stations on console today. That was really, really cool. We obviously don't do that when there's a satellite on top of the rocket, so this is the first time for a real flight that we've done that operation, which is very awesome.
Happy. I'm laughing at the super chats. Thank you very much, Happy Hacking Video Blog. And yeah, it kind of looks like that, but it definitely is a different thing. Definitely.
Flight room just yet. You were talking to some folks about what's going on in this room now.
Yeah, that's right. They should be completing the.
Oh, you're muted. Could that be?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So, I got a question here. Are the tanks filled up? They are just about to begin topping them off.
Topping them off. So they are filled up, but they are filling them up to the limit right now.
Yeah, so they do this rapid fill up with the Falcon 9 because they super cool the RP1 in liquid oxygen. And it's so, the colder it is, the denser you can make it, so the more fuel you can fit in the tanks. So they found that when you see smoke, that white steam coming off the rocket, that's the liquid oxygen boiling off. It gets to a higher temperature, then it literally just converts some liquid to a gas. They find that if they do a more rapid fill towards launch, they're able to keep more LOX and RP1, liquid oxygen RP1, in the tanks so that they have a longer burn, therefore a more efficient liftoff.
NASA had trouble with that for a long time. They didn't think that was safe, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a different system.
Yeah, because when you came on Shuttle, the tanks were topped off. They were done. There was some icing on the tank, and there was some boiling off, but it was nowhere near the high pressure that the Falcon 9 does, and that's one of the reasons why the Falcon 9 needs to be held up. Because if you were to stand one up when the tanks are not full, it could fall over. It could crumple and fall over. It's not to the same degree as you would have seen like on an Atlas, like from the Mercury days, or even Starship. Like it needs some pressure in order to keep that rigidity. So the strong back there, when you know the tanks are topped off, when the strong back pulls away.
If you're just joining us, you're looking at the Falcon 9 rocket with Crew Dragon sitting on top.
So they're all
Inside
saying that the
capsule
weather
on
is
top
getting
are
better.
NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley. And we are inside of 2 hours until liftoff, if the weather holds up.
Well, I wouldn't go to the beach, but it might be good enough to go to space, so... I know that we can launch in rain, but wind, lightning, thunder, certain types of clouds...
That is the final path that the astronauts took to climb aboard Dragon before they strapped into their seats.
What's that moving by the camera? Are those raindrops?
I don't know. It looks almost like dust. It could just be rain.
No doubt Bob and Doug
the
are
wind
focused on the mission ahead, but you know, we also heard the administrator and Elon Musk talking about how they've been kind of jovial and joking around. And
we're supposed to be expecting our first guest
to me,
soon.
During that segment, that's really important.
I'm gonna text her.
It really is, Marie. When we were in the vehicle,
stuck in traffic,
we got to this point when the hatch was closed. We were all going back to those
1 hour 45 to go.
You know, when we were going through, you know, ascent and entry training on the shuttle and just different phases of flight that we would be going through. And we would think about some of our instructors who got us there.
Actually, 1 hour 47, 31, as you can see there.
Very impactful in making sure
so
that
I'm
we
a little
47
in our training.
2 minutes.
And that looks like a view of Air Force One.
Looks like Trump is about to get there.
Flying near Launch Pad
Very
39A for a special guest to have a special view of the astronauts on the launch pad.
I know the VP is going to be there, the Vice President Pence.
President Trump on board, making his way
Trump's
to Kennedy Space Center to hopefully view a launch at 4:33 this afternoon.
More pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're going to launch under the right conditions. They're not going to... Oh, that's a cool picture.
And there they are in view of the launch pad. So no doubt he's looking at the window.
Definitely.
Looking out the window at Bob and Doug on the pad. That's got to be an amazing sight to see.
What are the odds he takes... You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to go there. We're going to keep this apolitical.
Yeah, actually, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
That's what I always say when it comes to politics.
T-1 hour,
it's a really, really hard topic, and it's not space-related. Luckily, there is no politics in space.
We actually did a little bit of research when we found out
let's keep it that way in the channel.
Yes. The last president to witness a launch from the Kennedy Space Center was Bill Clinton.
This is rain.
That was back in
that's
October
definitely rain.
1998 for STS-95. So it's been a minute.
Okay, and we are about 56 seconds away from the... Oh, no, we're not. We have an hour and 56 seconds away. Never mind. Instead, we are 1 hour and 45 minutes away from launch. And Tahira, you are there with the social teams. I bet you are seeing some excitement on all the things we just saw on the screen.
How close to launch would they announce a scrub? Would they really go down to like T-minus 10 seconds?
Things are really ramping up on social media right now, especially seeing that hatch close.
Absolutely.
And also just watching this flyover happen. We are up to 1.7 million viewers across all of our social media channels.
I would say there's no doubt in my mind that they would
people are saying on Twitter
kill
right
it within 10 seconds, but they would
so
know
it looks like
by
we've got
then
more creativity
whether
still
doesn't
on.
change in
Some
seconds.
People are crying with pride in Houston. Feel it.
A termination at that point would be something wrong with the booster
from the Hunger Games.
or the capsule.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's what I meant. How low would they go with a weather scrub? I know that they go down to T-minus 0 with a technical scrub. They can technically do that.
Yeah. But we even have the band Bastille.
How low will they go with the weather?
I don't know.
Awesome.
I'm so excited and I'm so pumped.
And rain is rain. I mean, it's not going to go away at the drop of a hat, you know.
So, guys, on top of what's being said on social social media. We've also got a lot of well wishes.
Okay, so Tim said, thank you, Alex. Tim said that they would announce it around 45 minutes before launch.
Okay.
With the weather scrub.
I am so ready to launch America.
Yeah, I think that is really, really important there right now. Look at that, beautiful.
Hi, I'm Audrey Clark, and I built this.
Actually, it's pretty cute.
Rocket.
Audrey's made a rocket. That was this big thing going on Twitter for days and days now, where NASA asked people to post anything related to Launch America, hashtag Launch America, and that's exactly the same thing that Cosmic Perspective is doing. If I can real quick point this out again for people that came later, hashtag Countdown Together. Film your reaction while the rocket is going off, and they will make a beautiful trailer out of it, putting everybody in who posts this on Twitter with the hashtag Countdown Together. I'll be in it, and I hope you'll be in it too. It's a really nice thing to do, and I hope there's many people going to be participating in it.
And if you're not familiar with Cosmic Perspective, you should go get familiar, because they film absolutely beautiful cinematic footage of rocket launches in slow motion, in 4K, 8K. Like, it's the highest fidelity stuff that I've ever seen, really.
Yeah. Technically, it's the best you can get.
The details are amazing, you know? And they've really tried stepping up their game. They've worked with Tim a lot, and using telescopes and motorized gimbals and things of that nature. So anyways, really amazing stuff. And I know that they're working on a much bigger project. They're working on a much bigger film. But I don't know the details outside of that. So whenever that film is, it's going to look amazing. It's going to look epic.
So please continue to join the conversation by using the hashtag America across Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And we've had the opportunity.
Here's my broken one.
Just reminded. Oh, broken one. You gotta fix it. I was reminded of this because she has the same thing on her desk. Not her, the other one. Exact same thing, and I was like, I got this too.
I'm pretty sure Ollie made these. Ollie Brown made these. The same gentleman who made this for me and the other ones I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have all these rocket there too.
Yeah, he's making them for SpaceX, NASA, and a couple television networks.
Yeah. This one. Give me a second.
So to tell us more about the space station,
actually, the craziest thing about this is that there's a Falcon Heavy sitting in the entry hall when you get when you go to SpaceX in Hawthorne. Ollie Brown's rocket is sitting at the entrance, which is absolutely awesome. He sent me this one here. That is today's mission, and it's incredible how much detail these have and how much time he spends on making them. And I'm just gonna put it here so I can look at it. If I put it here, you can see it too. There we go. I'm surrounded by dragons right now. Awesome. Thank you for the super chat, Kurt.
And represent the work of over 108 regions and countries.
Working on a
I really hope that did you
with Amy, so I may be quiet for a minute or two.
Go ahead. All good. I was wondering too. When I'm really hoping that our guests are going to show up. If they don't, it is due to something that they couldn't.
Well, Amy is here. She's ready, but the our system, she can't tap into it for some reason. So, stand by.
Stand by. She did not show up for the test.
It's so important for us to have this capability from a research perspective.
That's a great question.
Good thing I asked her to join early.
Brings us to the beginning of the commercial crew program.
She's going to give us a really, really nice insight into the history and why it took us so long, why there was such a long gap from STS-135 to today. She's the right type of person for that, for sure. If you don't know it, Vintage Space, go check it out. Absolutely worth it. She's absolutely awesome. She does really, really good content. And she writes books and is on TV and all sorts of.
Ooh, that reminds
really,
me.
really
I
cool
have
stuff.
her book. I need to go get it.
Go ahead.
Once I get her working though.
Yeah.
and get human samples back down to the ground.
If you're already watching, hey,
Kurt, you're talking about all
you can do this. We're getting you inside here.
experiments. But what would you say to someone who's watching this and thinking, this isn't relevant?
Yeah, it seems to not be working. She's not the only one. I tried loading it up on another computer, and it's like giving a weird flash.
While you're still trying, turn up the volume of the SpaceX stream a little bit and listen into that.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, we've been wondering, wouldn't it be nice to have more bandwidth? Why does the internet slow down? Some of the research we're doing on board Space Station, particularly into Z-band optical fiber, is using the fact that we don't have sedimentation in a microgravity environment to develop new materials that will help us build more perfect fiber optic cables, which will allow us for better bandwidth and lower cost in implementing networks here on Earth. And then if you're not really a tech geek, maybe your interests lie more in human health. And then we have multiple experiments going on to help us develop new drugs, new treatments on board the ISS. Pharmaceutical companies are working on methods that allow us to crystallize proteins in space in a more purified and more standardized method. And this could lead to monoclonal antibody suspensions that we can treat through injection instead of a painful infusion. We also are developing studies into our capability to produce tissues and organs in space. Again, because you don't have sedimentation, there's a capability there to produce more realistic tissues that can someday possibly be used to prevent human disease.
Now, Kurt, I know they have some cargo going up with them, but I understand they plan to bring some science back.
That's right, Gary. A lot of their cargo going up with them are crew supplies and EVA supplies to support them if they have to do EVAs on board. But the cargo they'll be bringing down is science, and it comes from across the
research they are doing on the ISS is really, really important. So yeah, thank you, moderators.
We'll be returning with the Crew Dragon. We also have a number of experiments that are dependent on their samples returning in frozen lockers on board the SpaceX Dragon to be able to do the science there. Those include rodent research tissues from the National Lab Rodent Research 17 mission, and also our veggie experiments, which are experiments in growing plants in space that will be needed when we go to more distant locations like the Moon and Mars.
International Space Station Chief Scientist Kurt Costello, thank you so much for your time. Let's hear now from one of the next astronauts to fly to station on a Crew Dragon, talking with Marina Jurica. Marina.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to be a part of today's momentous launch. My guest is no stranger to the International Space Station and will return there for the first time in nearly a decade for his third space flight with the Crew 1 launch expected later this year. Having logged 177 days in space from flights on the Space Shuttle Discovery to the Soyuz, JAXA astronaut Soichi Noguchi will have spent more time in space than any of his other crewmates. It is my pleasure to welcome him here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us, Soichi. Honjitsu wa arigato gozaimasu.
Wow, that's wonderful. Marina, how are you doing? Thanks for having me today. This is wonderful. Today we are celebrating the launch, so I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here with us. I am sure you have felt the excitement for today's launch, Soichi, and you will be on the next Crew Dragon flight after this one. Are you excited to launch from Kennedy Space Center again, and how are you preparing for this new vehicle?
Yes, definitely we are excited to go back to Kennedy Space Center. My first space flight was from Kennedy Space Center on the Space Shuttle Discovery. That was 15 years ago, but my memory is still fresh. I still feel the vibration of the launch, the same launch pad of 39A that the demo to go up, and the same launch pad that we will go up as a Crew 1. And our crew is getting ready for the final training phase, which will come in the coming weeks. And the mood is really high, and we are ready to go up.
And as you know, the International Space Station and space exploration is an international effort.
Yes,
how do you feel representing the
Sadly,
Japanese Space Agency once again on the ISS?
Well, I think the strengths of the International Space Station is the diversity of all the participating countries, and adding a diversity is definitely gives a rigidity to the program. And the same applies to our crew one. Our crew one, we are 4 of us, but quite a different background, quite a different ethnicity, and definitely the diversity is the key word of our success to the crew one.
And I'm sure it will be very successful. What are you looking forward to once you get back to the ISS?
Well, this will be my 3rd visit to the International Space Station. I like to see the things my colleagues keep saying, hey, you got to visit the space station again because it's getting more comfortable, more
Amy is able to join us. Sorry, I haven't gotten her on the feed yet.
To my sleep station
hey, Amy.
After 10 years.
And nothing beats that view, does it?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, you're looking at the SpaceX. Oh, what are you looking at? I don't know. We're looking at the SpaceX live stream, and they're interviewing.
This is the number one leisure time for astronauts, and I'm ready to shoot as many photos as I can this time as well.
Amazing. I will.
She's seeing a little bit of everything.
I'm sure you remember exactly what it feels like in these moments right before.
Yes, you are.
You see a crazy guy waving? That's good. I guess.
We're working through. I'm working through the technical stuff right now, Amy. So it'll be just one more second here. So everybody, Amy is here. So clearly, you can hear her. Just can't see her yet. So.
Audience, this is Amy. Amy, this is audience.
Yes, Amy, audience, Amy. Yes.
Oh, then I know what window you're looking at. Yes.
You look great on our end, though.
That's all good. That's all good. That's the first thing I said when TJ introduced me into this. This is my first time with this. As well, so.
Yeah, Felix had to just like blindly trust that this was going to work.
Oh, and they can't even hear Amy yet.
They can't hear Amy.
The audience can't hear Amy.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be my fault then. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I'm working on that.
TJ is gonna fix it. Don't worry.
Can you guys hear her now?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear fine.
Can you see me?
We see Amy. I see Amy. Yes. Now. I can hear her.
Yay!
I can hear her. Yeah, perfect. There you go.
Okay. Amy, thank you so much for joining us. Right now, this is a really good time for us to be catching up about this launch. The crew's just kind of hanging out right now in Dragon. So Amy's here, as you all know. Amy may or may not know. Amy is a historian, a long-time YouTuber. If anybody is watching me and Felix, you've definitely watched Amy. She's been on numerous TV shows. Her book is upstairs right now. While she's answering this next question, I'm going to go run up and get the book. But
I don't know if that's in the shot.
I'll go get it. Don't worry. You gotta get a little closer. It's coming. Yeah, it'll get there.
A bit more. A bit more. There you go.
I can't actually see the preview of the stream, so badly pixelated. I can't actually see what's what.
Well, you look great on the stream. Amy.
There we go.
So, Amy, this is the 5th crewed American vehicle actually going to low Earth orbit. This is like a pretty big deal, I would say. Can you just articulate how big of an accomplishment this is now?
I think what's really interesting to look at this when we kind of talk about this being a kind of notable accomplishment or something really big is that it's the first time in almost a decade that we've had a human mission leaving from American soil going into orbit, because of course there's been some Virgin flights that have gone into suborbital. But we're also seeing a whole new era of spaceflight beginning right now with private companies coming in. Oh, there it is. Private companies coming on board and kind of picking up some of the, I don't want to say some of the slack, but picking up a little bit of the work from NASA, such that potentially what I'm hopeful that we might see is private and public companies kind of working together to collaboratively bring us a wider space exploration kind of program. Yeah,
absolutely. And especially for the price too. I mean, Shuttle came to around $1 billion a launch towards the end of its life there, where Crew Dragon, I don't know if there's an official public price tag. It's like 140 million eventually or something of that nature. Felix, do you know? He's muted. Amy, do you know?
I've muted my microphone. It's 50 million per seat. That's what I can say for Crew Dragon.
And do you guys know, I don't have this off the top of my head, I didn't think to look it up. What was the price we were paying for seats on Soyuz?
90, same as Starliner.
Okay. So this is definitely a potentially interesting way of making space exploration a little bit more cost effective as well. I mean, space is hard, space is really expensive. Well, if we can bring one of those, we're not going to make it much easier, because it's still, I love putting it this way. Everything in space is trying to kill you, including the lack of stuff in trying to kill you. So bring the cost down. It'd be nice to be able to kind of redirect some of that to, solving the bigger problems like radiation and all those tricky things that are also trying to kill you.
Can you speak to the shape of the capsule? I mean, a lot of people look at these the Dragon and Starliner capsules as like us going back, and there's a reason for that. And a lot of this was found during Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo days. Would you mind? Yes, we're showing off our models. He wins the size contest for this one, everybody. I'm sorry. But can you speak to why we are going back to the capsule format for Dragon?
Yeah, capsules are a much easier technology when you're talking about space flight. It seems counterintuitive because we're so used to airplanes, and for an entire generation who grew up with the shuttle flying, the shuttle looks like an airplane. It makes sense that you can direct it to a landing. The issue with landing in salt water is that it's corrosive to metal, so that if you can't very easily refurbish and reuse those capsules, you can, but it's probably actually going to be more expensive than not. The problem is having a vehicle that is not shaped like a ball on the end of that capsule actually creates more problem to aerodynamic heating when you re-enter the atmosphere. So a capsule is kind of, you could almost think of it as like the path of least resistance to returning from orbit. A space plane is going to have more surfaces. It's going to have more things that are potentially going to be problematic in creating, dealing with the shock waves, dealing with the heating. A capsule is like a stone. It can just cull, and as long as the blunt end with the heat shield stays down, it's going to absorb the bulk of that heat. It's going to dissipate that heat. The crew is going to stay safe, and it's the easier of the way to do it. I mean, that's why they did it in Mercury. They actually created models and realized that this was the simplest way to bring astronauts back. Therefore, it was the best for what was happening in the early 1960s, and actually going back to the early 1950s even. So I'm not entirely unsurprised that we are returning to a capsule era of spaceflight, just because it's taking one challenge out of the equation.
Yeah, we're just taking the advantage of what physics has given us.
Yeah.
What kind of future do you see? And we alluded to this earlier in the earlier question about the cost of flight, but what kind of future do you see in the next 50 to 100 years, really, of having a more affordable access to space?
I think a more affordable access to space, I'm hoping, will extend our reach into space. And I don't just mean that in terms of human missions going to other planets. I mean that in terms of robotic missions as well. Because if we can lower the cost of getting human payload into orbit, theoretically that will bleed over into lowering the cost of robotic missions into orbit, which from there it is easier to punt them to another destination. We focus a lot on Mars. Personally, I'm a little bit like, can we go somewhere else, please? I would really like to see the ease of getting payloads up, expanding to where we have robotic presence in space, such that once we do have all the kinks worked out of a human mission, we can actually send astronauts to some place that's maybe a little bit more interesting than Mars. I am super on board with a Titan mission as well as a Venus Cloud mission, for the record. Those are the places I want to go.
Venus
well,
Cloud.
Not me personally.
Venus Cloud would be amazing.
Right.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this question, considering how well I know you, but I'm going to ask it anyways. If you could take a Starship to any Apollo landing site on the moon, which one would you pick and why? You're not allowed to tinker with it, but you're allowed to go visit it and look around. Which one would you go to?
Right. That one's actually kind of I've got two that are kind of immediately jumping out to me, but now I have a model that I can use.
Oh.
This is Pete Conrad.
Yeah.
My little Pete Conrad action figure. He does have a helmet, so he's safe.
Oh, perfect.
But I would probably, I know I can't tinker with anything, and as an historian, I would never, because you preserve these sites of human history. I would really want to see Apollo 12. I think because that site is maybe not the most geologically very nice. Is maybe not the most geologically interesting or scientifically interesting site. Apollo 12 landed within walking distance of the Surveyor 3 mission, which landed in 1966, and they actually brought back the scoop, the TV camera, and I think another piece of metal. I think it'd be really interesting to see those two missions in one go, and to kind of just see what it must have looked like when you land on the moon and in this completely desolate, nearly untouched body is another thing that we've successfully put up there. I just think that would be a really interesting thing. I'd also like to see how the two have aged. Probably not at all, but what's been sun bleached and what's, been hit with some micrometeoroid or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, probably Apollo 12.
I'd want to go get Al Bean's camera.
Also
the
the
TV
timer.
Camera. And the timer,
yes.
yeah.
The timer, the TV camera.
It's beautiful. One of my favorite things when I go to the Air and Space Museum in D.C. is to go visit the part of Surveyor that they have there. You can go there, and they have the part there that they brought back off of Surveyor. So it's really cool to see.
They have one at JPL too, which is my favorite thing. Whenever I get to go there in the visitor center, there's a little piece of the moon from Apollo 12, and then the scoop, and I'm just like, hey.
So, all right, for the most controversial question of all, do you prefer the meatball or the worm logo?
I am meatball all the way. I've never loved the worm. I don't know. There's something. It's just classic. The meatball is classic.
Oh, he's got
I know
the worm.
you're team worm.
My brother Connor got this for me. I am team worm all the way. Team worm. I mean, listen. I don't know. There's just something so simple and pretty about it. The meatball. I mean, I like the meatball. Don't get me wrong. It's not even on this rocket. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I just look at this, and my inner designer is like, I want this on the side of my rockets. But
I have
like
the
this,
tiny meatball on Pete's chest. That's all I got. No, the worm is definitely like stylistically quite beautiful, but there's something about just the classicness. See, I also really like the NASA insignia, which no one has ever seen.
Yeah,
like nobody. If you're showing it, but yeah,
nobody's ever seen it. Like the regular insignia, the actual official logo of NASA, people are clueless about. Bob Bankin this morning,
clueless about it.
He wore a shirt with it on it.
Nice.
So it got some love this morning, a little bit.
Yeah.
Day of the logos.
Yeah. Well, Amy, that was really it. I mean, pretty simple interview. We're just happy that we were able to technically achieve this. This was quite the feat for us.
Absolutely awesome of you to join us. It's really nice to get these answers from you.
It is nice to. I'm loving that you guys are doing such a great job covering it, and I'm excited to actually watch the stream going into the launch.
Yeah, where were you earlier? I saw you were doing another interview. Was it today?
This morning, I, of all places, ended up on Fox Business doing a brief commentary on the launch.
Nice.
And then now I'm gonna hang out and watch the launch, and then I am, everyday astronaut.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
our mutual friend, Everyday Astronaut. I'm popping in ideally post launch, if everything goes according to plan, to chat for a minute, and that's kind of my launch day.
Awesome. Well, wow, it sounds like a really fun
Easier day than you do.
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't know. Felix and I have been kind of winging it now for the last hour and a half, and I think we're doing it pretty good. We're like keeping our heads afloat here.
Yeah.
So,
we're doing a perfect job, thanks to Amy.
Yeah, Amy, this is all we need, and we do have following you up is Emily Calandrelli, who she's actually been to Baikonur to put on like the Sokol suit and see what the Russian astronauts go through, and also has some experience with the Starliner and Boeing team. So we're going to ask her questions about that. But we really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. Unless you have anything else to talk about, we can let you go now. Well, no, I'm trying to push you away, but
I think I'm good. I mean, you guys have everything covered, unless you want old things in space. I mean,
no,
I feel like we should toss it
What
over
is,
to
what's
the
old is new again,
upcoming
Amy?
launch. What's old is new again. Yeah, that's the dream.
All right. Well, Amy.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
All right,
Bye,
Amy.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Okay. We're going back to
Awesome
us.
answers.
She was great.
Apollo 12. Totally agree with Apollo 12, by the way. That is... I was about to say the joke that I want to see the Apollo 13 landing site.
Haha. I would like to go see their the lunar lander or service module or something. One of them is still technically in like
still
solar orbit.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody tried tracking that down a while ago. Well,
and they found it, didn't they?
I think it was found. Yeah.
It was the service module. I think they found it. Or was it the lander? I think it was the service module. I'm not too sure now anymore. Should have asked Amy. She would have known. Damn, we should have asked Amy.
All right. Oh, Felix, you win the competition today. I just got a text message from my mother. She's watching the stream on your channel.
Yes! Thank you, TJ's mom.
Mom, what are you doing? Wrong channel. Thanks, Goody, for the super chat.
Not at
really
all.
Appreciate
Not
the
at all.
love.
Right channel. Don't listen to that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Felix is fine. Felix can have the view. It's okay.
I got the bigger one.
Yeah, it's yeah, she likes the bigger.
I'm sorry.
She likes
That's
the
a bad
bigger
joke.
capsule. All right, let me check in with Emily really quick, because I want to make sure that she's didn't run into the same technical issue that Emily did, but we were able to sort that out pretty quick.
Yeah, I think our countdown is a little bit off. Like by 2 minutes or something. But it's really hard to find. Yeah, no, the problem really is that it's really, really hard for us to adjust it to the... All right, I can't adjust it anyway, but it should right now be...
Let's see here. I'm
1 hour 16 minutes, I think. Is it should be at around 1 hour 16 minutes, and it's out 1 hour 14 minutes right now. But we'll see the rocket launch, so we won't miss that thing. This is more of a reminder. Thank you, Javier, for becoming a channel member, by the way. It was so absolutely awesome to have Amy on here right now. That was...
Amy and I go back. She's great.
Yeah, she is great.
I'm right now going into my code right now. I'm going to rewrite it to try to correct our clock at least to the minute right. We're not gonna get it right to the second. I don't think there's any way I'm gonna be able to pull that off.
Like I said, we're not gonna miss the rocket launch. That's for sure. That is this really, really large thingy that has a flamey end.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna miss that. I can't wait, and I really... But it looks definitely like the weather is clearing up. It really does.
Okay, I pushed it a minute.
It's definitely clearing up.
Yeah, it does look a lot more clear.
Yeah.
Okay, I pushed it a minute. We said we were a minute and change off. Should be better now. I don't know. Shall we listen to the SpaceX feed and see if there's anything worth listening to? They may just be... Whoa, William Shatner.
Oh, yeah, Shatner.
Let's listen to him.
I am there with you guys in spirit. Bob, Doug, good luck. I know you'll be fine. I'll be watching and got everything crossed, arms, legs. I'm tied in a knot. Can't wait for you to get back safely.
Bill Nye.
This is the first time a U.S.-built rocket has taken people into space in 9 years. It's quite an accomplishment. So for us at the Planetary Society, more rockets means more exploration. More people in space means more exploration. More countries involved in the endeavor of spaceflight means more exploration. This is how we know the cosmos and our place within it. So congratulations, SpaceX. Here's wishing your team, and the crew especially, a safe journey and the joy of discovery. Let's go.
And
Where's
thanks
Picard?
to William
Exactly.
Shatner and Bill Nye for those well
Where's
wishes.
Patrick Stewart?
And while we're keeping an eye on the pad, we want to bring in NASA astronaut Rex Walheim. If that name rings a bell, it's because he flew 3 space shuttle missions to the International Space Station, including the final one by Atlantis, STS-135. He was one of the last 4 people to ascend the tower, Pad 39A, and head to space. And he currently is Deputy Director of Safety and Mission Assurance at Johnson Space Center in Houston. Rex Walheim, thanks for joining us.
I would just be sweating
you and Leland
grossly
actually flew together.
in, like, the worst places ever. I'd be so nervous,
Rex
so
dog.
uncomfortable.
Really enjoyed flying with you.
They're moving their feet a
Hell,
little
dog.
bit, but that's just because they're strapped into these seats, and that
Rex, you
becomes
flew on the
uncomfortable
final
after a
shuttle
while.
mission. We
It's
said
like going super,
STS-135
super
with
economy
Doug. In
class
fact,
on an airplane.
what's
You
it
can't
like
move
seeing
an
him
inch.
in Crew Dragon right now?
What do you think they're talking about?
Great. This is what we've been looking forward to. You know, after the end of the shuttle program, you know, it was a very important time
what's
when we
that
wanted
smell?
to transition to this commercialization
Well,
of space
if you look at
flight
history,
to allow
exactly.
these
If you
commercial
look at
companies
history,
to,
astronauts have the funniest things to say before the rocket launches, and it's normally not really that technical. It's more like, I got to go to the toilet, or what's
Yeah.
that smell, or they're telling a joke to the ground team,
The
or something
technical
like
chatter is over now.
Mm-hmm.
So Felix, if you hear a random voice, it may be Emily. Just a heads up. Because apparently that's how my streams work. People just appear. Just checking what time we have her scheduled for. Also, sorry I've been ignoring my chat. Everybody watching, it's been like trying to direct and switch and everything, and also entertain Felix.
There is a toilet on the Dragon.
Yes, there is.
Pitox just asked on my chat. I'm at least randomly looking. Joe Barnard has private family problems, and he can't attend, and our thoughts are with him. I don't want to say more, but he really had a good reason. He can't. And we replaced it with Marcus House, who's hopefully going to wake up soon.
Yes, he's on his crew rest period right now. Being in Australia, he's on the opposite side of the marble. So I was working with him late, like 11:30 his time, and I was like, "Go get your sleep, man, because you got an interview coming up." So
yeah, he's from Tasmania, actually, little island off the coast.
Oh my God, I know nothing.
And the Tassies make a really, really big thing out of it, that they are separate. That's an island, which is understandable. It's not Aussie, it's Tassie.
I'm sorry
I've learned
for all
all
the
that from
Tassies
Marcus
out there who heard me. Pardon my ignorance.
I want to visit him. I told him a few times that when I come down to Australia, I'm definitely going to do that little trip up to Tasmania to visit him.
Thank you very much, Rex. We appreciate you. And as we watch,
Oh, we have a visitor.
Who's there?
She's here.
I can
the
hear a
audience
voice.
can't hear her.
Is that you, Emily? Hello. Hello. We can't see you yet, but we can hear you, and I hope that the audience can hear you. I'm going to do a real quick check. Can you hear Emily, everybody?
TJ's working on it. TJ's working on it. She will be.
TJ's working on it.
We will hear her
All right.
momentarily. I promise, audience.
Nice.
I am just getting her into my my computer here.
You can do this. So everybody, Emily's already here, and she can hear us, and we can hear her, and we're gonna be ready real soon. Before everybody can hear you, thank you for joining. It's absolutely awesome that you were able to join us today, and like I said, TJ's gonna have it sorted out real soon. This time we were prepared when Amy came online earlier.
everybody's like, where is this disembodied voice coming from? And so it was a little traumatic for a moment, but we appreciate you taking.
Thank you. It's all TJ's work. This is the first time for me doing such a collaboration. I know. Yeah.
SpaceX are going to do some internal go polls, just making sure conditions are good with Falcon 9, the Dragon, the crew, the range, and the space station before the final go is given. So let's check back in with Houston.
You actually mean my background. People still... Thank you. That's actually Tapestry, and my wife did that. And she's the best. People still can't hear you, I think. No, we can't. No, but she's you can hear her soon. She gave me a very, very nice compliment. There you go. Now we can see her.
Oh, good! Yay!
And we should be able to hear her now.
And we should be able to hear her.
1, check 2.
There you go. Thank you for joining us. This is an honor. I don't know when TJ told us what the lineup is for today, because he organized you and Amy, and I'm super stoked. When I heard that, I was floored basically. So it's a really, really big honor.
Well, I'm so excited to be sharing this day with others. I'm, like many other people, quarantined in my house when I wish that I was down at the Cape for this historic launch. And so streams like this make me feel like I'm watching it with friends. So it's great to be here.
There you go. That's what I always say. It's the best. It's, in my opinion, it's the best way to actually interact with all the people that surround this whole launch basically today. The whole world is watching. I saw pictures from Kennedy Space Center where everything is like completely plastered right now with RVs and cars and everything. Everybody came. I really hope that this launch is going to take off today, because the weather might still be a small problem. But we're going to see how this plays out, and we're crossing our fingers.
I know.
Okay, I got a few questions prepared for you. All right, let me just start with the SpaceX spacesuits. They look a lot different than what they used during the Shuttle program era. What's the idea behind the design?
Yeah, so the spacesuits, I think if you were watching the live stream today, they just look so slick. And like getting into that white Tesla with all the NASA branding, I joked on Twitter, I was like, this is the most expensive Tesla commercial I've ever seen because it was so cool and great branding for Tesla. But those spacesuits, just like everything else that Musk does, are just so incredibly cool looking. And from what I've read, he actually worked with the Hollywood costume designer, the famous Hollywood costume designer, Jose Fernandez, who is the designer behind these iconic superhero costumes like Spider-Man and Thor and Batman. And so the aesthetics of these spacesuits certainly reflect that like superhero idea that we have in mind. But other than that, of course, they're custom fitted with like all the other technical requirements that you would need with like cooling and communication and hearing protection and heat protection, and also the gloves. They had to work with touch screens because of course the Crew Dragon is fitted with touch screens throughout. So I think that's really cool. And they look really different than what we're used to seeing with like the traditional space shuttle launch and landing suits, those really obnoxious orange suits that you're used to seeing. They had that really bright color because in the case of an emergency, and the astronauts had to be retrieved from like a blue ocean or maybe like a green area on land, they wanted the astronauts to be able to stick out like a sore thumb so that they would be easily retrieved. Of course, I think the technology has advanced. We're a few decades, or at least a decade after the space shuttle program. So I think the technology has advanced a little bit, so we don't necessarily need to rely on the color to be able to find the astronauts in the case of an emergency. So now we get to have those very cool white spacesuits.
Yes, I can only repeat this. I'm a huge fan of the SpaceX design, and I think they found a really, really sleek solution for what they have to do, because they, of course, as you said, they have to protect the astronauts. That's the main reason why they're wearing it, and I think they just said they're go for launch on the SpaceX stream. Let me just real quick listen into this. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Display. They are currently going through.
Yeah, but this is just normal progress right now. So we're still waiting for the final call. Like Tim Dodd said, that's roughly going to happen 45 minutes before.
Of the crew access arm that you can see on the left monitor.
Yeah, that's not supposed to. Good. That's not supposed to retract until T-42.
Yeah. All right. Now we talked about the suit. Can you tell us a little bit about the guys in the suits? Who's sitting in that capsule?
Yes. So the crew today, we have Robert Benkin and Douglas Hurley, and these two astronauts are actually buddies. Like, they're actually good friends. So they're from the same astronaut class from the year 2000. They were at each other's weddings. And I just learned this yesterday. I did not know this. They are married to astronauts. Like, what? This is the most iconic power couple ever. Like, both of them are married to astronauts. So all other power couples can take a seat, because these people are like so iconic. And the other really cool thing, it's so cool. The other fun fact I think that is really interesting is Douglas Hurley piloted the last space shuttle launch in 2011. So he is coming really full circle, launching from the same launch pad. He's going to be able to retrieve the flag that he left up there with his crew in 2011. And it's just, I think that is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. For anybody who doesn't know yet, they with STS-135, they brought a flag up to the ISS, and they left it there for the next American crew that launches from American soil to pick it up again. And yeah, amazingly enough, the same guy who left it there is going to pick it up again and bring it down. And that is just, it's incredible what's happening today. I'm so stoked for this. So stoked. All right, then what? If I wanted to be in one of those suits, what would I have to do?
Oh boy! So they just had the most recent astronaut application, and I think that closed at the end of March. So you may need to wait for the next round. But I believe the requirements are you need to have a master's degree in a STEM field, a couple of years of work experience, or 1,000 flight hours, and you need to pass a physical. So like the main requirements are not too difficult if you have a degree in STEM and if you've worked in the field for a little while. But there's just thousands and thousands of people that apply to one of these things. And from the astronauts that I've spoken to, they often have applied and got rejected and applied and got rejected. And it takes like 3 or 4 times. So I would encourage anybody who wants to be in one of those flight suits to just apply every single time there is a call for applications, because you never know. They need people with many different types of specialties across the sciences and engineering. They need people who are good with teams, who are good at teamwork. They need many different types of personalities. So yeah, anyone out there who wants to be in one of those spacesuits, definitely apply next time NASA has a call for applications.
Maybe a space YouTuber or something who can at least do the physical.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Okay. It's been 9 years since we sent somebody up the last time. Why?
Yeah.
Why was there such a big gap?
I mean, that's like the biggest question I think people have is like, okay, the space shuttle retired in 2011, and now we're not like almost exactly 9 years later, and now we're sending humans back up again. Like, what's the deal? Because we've been sending, it's not like we stopped sending humans to the International Space Station. We've been shuttling our astronauts back and forth through the Russians. We've been paying the Russians, like today, now it's $86 million a seat to send astronauts back and forth. So we've been doing it just like paying some other country to do it. And the reason why there was that big gap is for, like many things, there's a number of reasons. One poor planning, not having a suitable replacement to the space shuttle in line. 2, like anything done in the space industry, space is hard. A lot of times you don't know what you don't know. You are moving into uncharted territory. There are likely to be program delays, a few failures along the way that's going to delay the program. And we saw this with SpaceX and Boeing. But also, not everybody agreed that commercial crew, that handing off the keys to low Earth orbit to private companies was a good idea in the beginning. And so they didn't fund this program sufficiently in the beginning. Charlie Bolden, I believe in 2015, sent a letter to Congress saying, you know, you guys aren't giving us the money that we're asking for this program. And because of that, because it's not appropriately funded, we are again going to have to renew our contract with the Russians to be able to send our astronauts back and forth to the space station, which, by the way, we've already invested tons of money in. So we're not just going to like leave it up there and wait until we have a ride to get there, right? That's not really an option here. And so they didn't fund it appropriately in the beginning, and I think that just that extended the program a little ways. But a lot of factors, but we're here now, and we're all really excited, and we're all cheering them on today.
Yeah, now we have a Tesla driving 2 NASA astronauts towards a SpaceX rocket. It's a surreal scenery we're having right now. You were able to give me some really, really good answers here. How come you're so interested in space? What got you into this?
Right. So like on the interwebs, I am known as the Space Gal. So on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all of those places. And I got that name like a very, very long time ago because my background is in aerospace engineering. I have 2 degrees in undergrad, mechanical and aerospace engineering, and then I went to MIT to get a couple masters, 1 in aeronautics and astronautics and 1 in technology and policy. And I really, honestly, I think I started my love of space happened when I knew I wanted to do engineering, but I wasn't sure what type. And I remember learning about the Vomit Comet, which is that plane that like flies like an 8,000-foot roller coaster in the sky and the people inside float weightless. And I learned at my university that you could fly on the Vomit Comet for free if you were an aerospace student and designed an experiment to fly on the Vomit Comet that NASA thought was good enough. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And honestly, that's how I started in aerospace engineering.
And that's how your experiment was actually good enough. I saw the pictures of you on the Vomit Comet. So that's the story behind these pictures?
Well, the story behind those pictures was I flew on the Vomit Comet when I was a student, and then I became a TV show host and was like, I want to fly on the Vomit Comet again. And so now I've flown on the Vomit Comet 3 times.
Oh, I want to go on that plane.
And 2 for my show.
So if you've got anybody who can get me on the Vomit Comet, I would be going. Just saying, you know.
Sure. Yeah, I'll reserve a ticket for you one day.
Yes, thank you. Okay, one last question: meatball or worm?
Ooh, I mean, like I love both, but I have to say, and this is like a little hypocritical because I'm clearly wearing the meatball right now, but like the worm, right? Like I love minimalistic design and that there's just not much to it and it just feels so empowering when
you baby.
I mean, I love it. And I love like the history. I love the, like when I see that logo, I just think like old school NASA, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I like both. I wear both. But like the worm, man, I think
you're going with the worm. Perfect. Thank you for all these answers. Thank you for joining us. It was absolutely amazing that you could make it actually to our stream, to our humble little SpaceX demo mission 2 stream. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and go Dragon.
Go Dragon. Yes.
Go Dragon.
Bye, Emily. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Bye.
We appreciate it. You're awesome.
Thanks for having me. See you later, guys.
Bye. We do have our next guest lined up. The man, the myth, the legend, Marcus House. 3rd time's the charms, Felix. I was able.
How you going, guys? How you going?
I'm still totally stoked about Emily, but to see you right next, I'm like floored. Marcus,
I just had to get out of bed. Had to do my hair because I had serious bedhead, so it took me a little while to get ready. It's a little early in the morning for me. It's 5:30, so I've just had some sleep. So yes, thanks for having me on. This is awesome. I normally don't do a lot of live streaming myself because my connection can get a little bit choppy. So if that happens, then at least I'm only the guest and not the host, because that wouldn't work well at all. How's everybody going this morning? I still need to catch up on everything that's happened since, I don't know, the last 6 hours. So I'm totally oblivious to everything that's happened. Fill me in.
Oh, since we just had really, really important guests here, we haven't been watching the SpaceX stream.
What we can say is that they're in the rocket, in the capsule, and things seem to be progressing fine. I think I think our chat is way more in touch with how things are going than we are, if I'm going to be honest. I also took the liberty of incorporating Marcus into our SpaceX viewing party view as well. So we have all three of us here.
Well,
it's a
huge day. It really is a huge day. I can't say I slept wonderfully either. It's just it's a very nerve-wracking thing, and it's just been such an awesome progression leading up to seeing all of these magical elements of this mission come together. And what is it, 20 years in the making from the start of SpaceX to this goal of launching the first humans on board a SpaceX vehicle. So it blows my mind that it's finally got to this. Obviously, it's been delayed due to various reasons especially over the last 12 months, but finally here now. So hopefully the weather holds out. What's the weather looking like?
It's clearing up. At least we can say that. If you look at the latest views of the pad, I actually stopped in my Emily interview because I wanted to see about the weather, and fingers crossed. Right now, it looks like it's clearing up. I haven't looked at. I think the 45th is not going to release anything anymore, and so it's a waiting game right now. It really is.
Okay. Great.
Well, I did not prepare any questions for you, Marcus, if I'm going to be honest with you, because it's been a little bit of a hectic day.
I can imagine.
But the one consistent question we've asked every guest is, do you prefer the worm or the meatball?
I'm a big fan of the worm. All right. I really love that they've brought it back for this. It might not be a permanent thing they've brought back. I know that Jim Bridenstine's really had a lot to do with this push to bring it back.
It is.
It's for me, it's a nostalgic thing. I think seeing it again when we've seen the shuttle down for so long. 2011, we saw the last shuttle land. 9 years since America's had the capability of sending astronauts up, and to see the worm logo again with the history behind it. And for me, the history behind it was really for the young people more than anything. Like as we were growing up, the official logo was a lot of the meatball stuff, but the kids all wore the worm. Yeah. So I think that's why it appeals so much to me, because it's a nostalgic thing. But yes, that's a fairly clear answer. Fairly clear answer. I do love the meatball as well. Obviously, that's a very historic thing as well, but I just love that they've brought this back. And obviously both logos are on the vessel in some form. So, yeah.
So right now we have 2 people for the worm and 1 for the meatball, right?
Yeah. So it comes down to me and Felix. I think we all know where I stand, though.
Yeah, I think we do. And that basically, I love the meatball. I got to say, I have the same answer Marcus gave. Just replace
just for the opposite reason.
the two things. Exactly. It's the meatball is the traditional thing. Yeah. It was there. It's whenever I see NASA, I see that meatball. But on the same I'm on the same side as you two are. I love the worm because it's so simplistic. It's very, very stylish. It's a thing from childhood. Seeing the shuttle launches, using it was a different thing. It was a different time, and it is absolutely. I actually like that both are on the rocket together with the SpaceX logo. That is just.
That's exactly right. I think having them both together is just the thing that makes it feel really great. It doesn't matter which era you've been a fan from. you've got something right here for you. So yeah.
Looks like I was able to correct our countdown timer, Felix. We are within 1 second difference.
Nice. That is accurate timer. Perfect.
So I don't want to mess with that anymore.
You better not. I gotta give real quick shout outs to tons of people. I have probably not. I think my moderator is gonna pick those up, and I'm gonna do an after party after. Give me a second.
So I'm just checking in on a few tweets that I've missed from everybody here. They're looking a little ominous.
Launch readiness review. A couple of minutes. Okay, I'm sorry. So I was saying everybody who's done a super chat, I'm gonna shout out to you in the after party. My moderators are picking you up. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was just checking in there on a few reports of weather. I'm a pretty big fan of a lot of the work that Greg Scott's been doing. He's got a great shot of some pretty ominous looking clouds and things here. That's we'll see how things go. I've really got my fingers crossed that this is going to launch today. Otherwise I won't be sleeping till what, Sunday? That's the next.
You know what the biggest problem is? I'm planning to go on vacation on Friday.
That is a bummer.
You know what I'm going to do? If it doesn't launch today, I'm going to take all my equipment with me, and I'm going to stream. Because I really, I've asked my wife. We're going to the same hotel. We just had our anniversary, not just the channel, actually our marriage. And we're going to the same hotel that we went to for the honeymoon. And I was sitting there. I said, this is such an important launch. I really have to stream this. I want to stream this. And she said, you know what? I wanted to. And I'm like, yes! So I'm going to take all my camera equipment with me and my microphone. And if it happens, I'm going to do it from the hotel. That's going to be absolutely epic.
There you go. Awesome. Oh, well, thumbs up to the missus, mate.
And I will still be in my basement. So
yes. Thanks, Derby. You're absolutely awesome. Thank you very, very much. We're enjoying this very much here.
Now, currently, we are continuing to
so down to around
weather.
what? We've got almost 45 minutes.
It is improving. We're
and the launch readiness review.
Coaxius arm should be pulling out in the next 2 to 5 minutes. They say anytime between T-minus 45, T-minus 42 minutes.
So it looks like we're going to be good to begin propellant
Let's listen
load
in here real quick.
once we hear the polls.
So it looks like they're about to do propellant load.
Get the range green.
I'm waiting for the launch readiness review.
In just 47 minutes from now. Let's listen to Countdown Net for a moment.
Yo, 47 minutes, we might be going to space, guys.
I'm so stoked about this. I don't hear anything.
They're being quiet.
Why are they so quiet?
It's not us, it's them. I swear to God, it's as loud as I can make it.
TJ, you messing with the audio again?
The louder
I wonder
make
what
it, the more
Bob and
static
Doug
we
here
hear.
are thinking.
I can make
They look incredibly relaxed, if you're asking me. I mean, there you go. Okay.
Right now, coming up on 46 minutes, 10 seconds before launch.
There we go.
Didn't hear any significant chatter coming over Countdown 1.
Yes, launch sector
so it
and
wasn't
countdown
us,
net.
okay.
Hull is complete, and we have a go to proceed with propellant load.
Oh, we're still go.
Launch control, proceed with swing into crew arm. Arming crew arm movement for T-minus 45 minutes. Thank you, launch control.
I am very
Good sign.
A reminder in control room on hold and launch escape protocol. For non-urgent no-go conditions, brief CE or LD, and it will approve aborting the launch auto sequence and proceed to launch abort. For urgent issues affecting the safety of the operation, operators shall call hold on the countdown net. Launch control will abort the launch auto sequence immediately and proceed into the launch abort auto sequence. Operators shall also advise the launch director whether structural breakup or fire is imminent or occurring per Dragon manual escape flight rules. Remainder on fire alarm instructions. Here in Fire Room 4, in the event of a fire alarm, key operators, previously briefed, will remain at their post while the alarm is evaluated. In the event that personal safety is threatened, we will evacuate to the south-facing emergency exit, which leads directly outside. One final reminder, they'll be arming the launch escape system momentarily. Need all personnel, please stay in your seats from now through orbit insertion and Dragon separation from the second stage.
Crew access arm retractor started.
And you've heard Mike Taylor, the SpaceX launch director, give instructions to the team.
All right,
We've also just heard the call. The crew access arm retraction is underway. Great view from the camera inside the White Room as we see the arm moving away from the Dragon capsule. One of the major events necessary to get down to T0. The next one coming up will be arming of the escape system on the Dragon capsule. Now, right now, the next plan for Falcon 9, T-minus 35 minutes, we will begin loading propellant onto the first and second stages.
This is so shiny. We've been
now,
sitting
currently,
here for so long, Felix.
Falcon 9's looking good. Dragon's looking good. The range continues to be go for launch in terms of the clearance around the launch pad, both the air and the sea space. Looking at the flight corridor, the ground stations, the NASA tracking and data relay satellites are ready to support.
And just the
and we
shots.
just continue to monitor the weather. Our team is getting constant updates. We're monitoring weather data sensors around the launch.
This guy really knows how to work this tech, and he's done a brilliant job of getting all the guests in. And TJ is the core of this whole live stream up here.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, TJ. That is awesome.
Show some love for him.
It's nothing. This is just. This is great.
Shut up.
This is good. No, I'm just happy. I'm just happy to be here. Is all. Really. This is.
I'm happy to be here too.
I'm just so excited. You know, I wanted to do something big. You know, like.
You did.
Well, yeah.
You did.
We've been waiting for years, and you know, I did want to be there. With COVID, we didn't want to take a chance.
43, and the countdown is actually super precise. It's like 2 seconds off. You're 2 seconds off.
I think that their countdown is drifting. Mine has been very steady this entire time.
Is it?
So it's got to be SpaceX's countdown. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
it's weird. I have seen their countdown do that before.
Yeah.
It just
mine
sort
is
of fluctuates.
synchronized with my computer. Theirs is probably synchronized with like the national clock or something, you know.
And that's and that stupid national clock thingy that won't work. No, that's it's actually absolutely remarkably close. I think I've never managed to get such a close match on my launch countdown. So you did fabulously.
Just some fun HTML. As we get closer, if that countdown is gonna well, we'll cut between different angles, but once we get probably T-minus 10, I'll just kill mine because it'll, you know, at this point, at that point, a lot is gonna be happening.
And actually, can you make the stream a little bit bigger? Like fill up the picture or something?
Felix, I could do whatever you want. You want me to do that? I can do that.
The magician.
I'm going to need about a few more minutes here. Not even, a few more seconds here.
You got 41 minutes and 42 seconds.
So we just heard the astronauts confirm that they are about to launch, or excuse me.
I'm trying to make it look not terrible. So here, we'll transition to this version, which is a little bit bigger, and then I'm gonna make it look bigger on this next go around. I promise. So.
Thank you, Alexander. Absolutely awesome. Thank you very much for the support.
That happened a little before.
I know I've missed a few because I've done the interview, but I'm gonna give every single one a shout out on the after party. Your support means a lot, and my 4K camera is getting closer and closer, and I'm so happy about this. Everything that is collected, if you don't know yet, everything that's collected through super chats on my channel today is going to go in. We got the launch abort system armed. Is going to go into the 4K camera funding, which is insanely expensive. But we're getting closer.
So we just heard that
verification. Is this better for you, Felix?
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Thank you. But you will have to even remove our channel names later because that's where the telemetry is going to be. Okay. But this is perfect. Thank you.
Here, you know, if it makes you feel better, we can kill it now. I don't think SpaceX is going to mind.
To take us through prop loading. Jesse?
Let me,
From the parachutes to the launch escape system, SpaceX has designed Crew Dragon and Falcon 9 to be the safest launch vehicle ever flown. And joining us today, we have SpaceX's Nick Picone.
We have a little talking going on there.
Should I move us to a different portion of the screen, like extreme top right or something?
Us, Nick.
Hey, Jesse. I'm here at the Launch and Landing Recovery Center with the recovery team and our Dragon ground operations team monitoring the launch.
Awesome. Can you tell us more about the critical safety features on this new version of Dragon?
Sure. So Dragon 2 was designed with long-term reuse and reliability in mind. So fundamentally, there are multiple layers of redundancy to any of the failure modes that we could conceive of, that NASA could conceive of when we were working to design and test this vehicle over the past few years. But in the event that we encounter an unforeseen failure mode or multiple failures which push us outside of our design space, Dragon also has backup systems and operational controls intended to keep Bob and Doug safe. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it today, but the launch escape
Can you turn up the volume on the SpaceX stream just a little bit more?
System that we have from the moment that the vehicle is here on pad being fueled all the way up until orbital insertion. At a high level, the launch escape system, in the event of a major Falcon anomaly or emergency, will terminate Falcon thrust, separate Dragon from Falcon, and it'll use Dragon's 8 Super Draco engines to quickly pull the vehicle away from any kind of Falcon anomaly.
Yep.
And you talked a lot about the launch escape system. How exactly is that activated? Is it autonomous? Is it manually activated?
Definitely. So for this system to work as designed, you have to remember that the vehicle could be flying at hundreds or thousands of miles an hour through the lower atmosphere. So it's really important that it's extremely fast and highly reliable with very low chance of false positives. The launch escape system fundamentally is set to look at a set of pre-programmed criteria which are on board the vehicle. Dragon and Falcon are looking at high rate telemetry, looking for abnormal vehicle dynamics, loss of communication between critical systems, or manual commanding. Our launch director and chief engineer, who you've heard a lot from today, are capable of sending a manual command to Dragon to initiate.
Yeah, that's actually a crazy thing with the button.
To actuate the launch escape handle.
That they actually have the ability to make the rocket explode, and it's a tradition amongst astronauts to give the guy who's sitting at the button for your launch, to give him a little present, you know, nice to him.
And we did have an in-flight abort test earlier this year to test this out. Can you tell us what we learned from that test?
Definitely. It was possibly the most flight-like test of an orbital class booster in history. It was a fully flight-like test using a full Falcon 9 rocket, which we had to knowingly
absolutely
destroy
awesome test.
In order to get this fully integrated system.
Sure was.
For folks who didn't get a chance to see it, the vehicle followed a normal crew launch trajectory. About a minute and a half into flight, we had Dragon autonomously trigger the launch escape system based on a reconfiguration of those triggers I was just talking about.
For propellant load.
Thankfully, we had we continued through flight, had a successful parachute deployment and splashdown, and we did see Falcon rather spectacularly blow up about 10 seconds after separation. It's important to recognize that all of that happens from command to actual separation of the vehicle.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a really nice interview, definitely.
Yeah,
the launch abort system
that
is
sounds
a
amazing.
vital
Thank
thing.
you so much, Nick, for joining
Especially
us.
Yeah, I mean, anybody
through
that's
those
right.
details with us.
And
Enjoy
anybody
the
that's
launch
watching
today.
that hasn't seen
So
that,
we're going to send it back to KSC
certainly bring it up in another
Lauren.
window and go and check it out, because that really was amazing
Thank you,
footage.
Jesse.
It's something that we really haven't seen
about a
before,
minute
as far
and
as
a
I'm
half
aware,
away from
in
Propellant
that
load at
to that
T
degree.
35 minutes. We should
That
hear
was
the call out on
incredible.
the
I
nets
was
that
I was
Propellant
basically
load has
stunned
started.
at the scenery
So
when I
that's
did the
about a
live
minute
stream
and
on the
13
in-flight abort
seconds
test.
away.
I remember my feelings when all these things in super short succession happened, and everything was a perfect choreography of perfectly integrated and working together systems. It was just like a ballet or something. It worked flawlessly. Absolutely awesome.
The prop was getting loaded up. I was just going through my crew notebook.
Thank you very much, Godfrey and Patrick.
What my first step would be if there was a malfunction, because usually everything goes nominally when you fly to space, but you have to think about the things that you have to take care of, the first steps you have to take care of. And on my mission, I was calling out the abort calls, like if we had lost an engine, where would we go next?
You see the weather. There's still showers in the area.
Around the country and around the world. So I think that's what those guys are probably thinking about now. And
I'm not 100% sure what the actual margins are for when they do need to call and abort on the mission, like how bad the weather really does need to be.
Seconds from
it's a different thing for crewed flight. They even released a very detailed list of criteria that have to be met.
We're getting close. We should hear that call out
if they want to launch, and there were a lot of things in there.
Let's listen in.
So, and that's totally understandable. So if there is not going to be a launch tonight, don't be mad at NASA or SpaceX.
Fantastic.
They know what they're doing. If they scrub this, they have a reason. And there are two very, very, very brave astronauts sitting on top there.
And
we don't want to see anything bad happening to them. So better find the perfect day. And if today isn't the day...
we are 34 minutes and 42
seconds
exactly
away
from the first launch of astronauts into orbit from American soil since 2011.
And like I said before, actually, I mean, of course I'll be disappointed if it doesn't launch tonight, but on the other hand, we're going to be in it more than once. You know, we're going to have the same excitement again. The rocket's going to be on the pad again, and we're going to go through all these things again. And honestly, that wouldn't be the worst thing to happen.
So, that's right, and this is a historic thing. This is there's so many firsts in this mission. Obviously for SpaceX, but you know, it's a first for America in a number of ways.
See, she's got the exact same thing on her desk. It looks exactly the same.
So,
there you go.
As you can see, the Dragon is actually broken up into...
Oh, no, hers is beautifully painted, and I'm going to hide mine.
Of the Super Draco engines for a total of 8 of them. And as I mentioned, they are biprop engines. They have...
Pickle Rick! Thank you for the super chats.
Now, most aborts...
Thank you very much. Yeah, somebody said Pickle Rick!
And they're really just talking about the abort modes. If you're watching these streams, you probably know how there's the pushers and the pullers and everything, which is what they're talking about right now. Marcus was asking about the criteria for abort, and there are like 12 very specific, I think 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Very specific, yeah.
14 points that you have to hit. Things like no sustained level exceeding 30 miles per hour at the pad, upper level wind conditions, can't have wind shear that could lead to control problems, so there's nothing specific there. Cannot launch for 30 minutes after lightning is observed within 10 miles.
Yeah.
So like they've got a bunch of things, and then there's the weather conditions for the different abort locations. So even if the weather's clear, if the ocean is too turbulent, they may not feel safe about that. But I think that they have different contingency locations in the Atlantic for like an immediate abort. So even if not, they don't all have to be perfect. Just the right amount of a certain amount of them need to be perfect, because they can use the Draco thrusters on Dragon to reorient and actually move it to different locations, which is awesome. That they're able to use those thrusters to get the capsule to a more safe location and not just follow like a generic ballistic trajectory.
Oh, he's talking about the
T-minus 35
propellant right
minutes,
now.
right on time. The propellants we use on Falcon 9 are a fuel.
Yeah, Falcon 9 is pretty standard when it comes to propellant, but it works incredibly reliable.
Yeah, because of the way they've pressurized the tanks and the efficiency of the engines, you know.
Yeah. And the redundancy of the engines. When they designed Falcon 9 and they announced that it would have 9 engines, everybody was like, how are you going to control 9 engines? And there's going to be so many errors in the system. But actually, on a rocket that has 9 engines, it is not that bad to lose one engine. And that can be an advantage.
Now, currently in the fueling, RP1 fuel is about 10% full on the first stage. That's
thank you, David, for the super chat.
The stack of the vehicle you can see on the left. The first
and thank you, Mark, for the super chat.
Cylinder at the bottom, plus that black cylinder called the inner
oh, wow. From a former SR-71 jet engine technician. Thank you very, very much.
Wow.
The second stage just
Wow.
above it, the white
That is an
cylinder,
awesome job
and then above
description.
that will be the Dragon trunk
It's
and the
amazing the
capsule.
diversity of people in the chat. You know, everybody just give us a quick shout out. Let us know where you're from. Like this is a worldwide, event. Everybody's watching this. I've seen it all over the TV, even in Tasmania, and that is saying something. I'll tell you.
Everywhere. Yeah, same
that.
here in Germany. Actually, same here. In the morning TV reports, we had it all over plastered with Crew Dragon. That is just, and there we go, everybody. Thank you guys. Thank you very, very much. And I see everything in there. It's incredible every time. It's just incredible. Everything.
30 minutes. Here we go. Far out. It is getting close now.
Okay, interesting observation I'm making right now. Doug is wearing his glasses.
Now, when we
Yeah, he's been before. He's been doing that before.
Did he do that on Shuttle? Did you wear glasses on Shuttle?
No, not in the Shuttle, but he's been doing that on all sorts of trainings for Crew Dragon, leading up to Crew Dragon. So he must be allowed to wear him under his helmet, and it's still going there. And I'm watching this, guys. I'm absolutely happy that you're all watching. Thank you for joining. I'm sorry, I'm just fascinated by the racing chat there. It's absolutely awesome. Thank you, guys.
I actually didn't mean to do quite that, but yes, that is awesome. I mean, just look at the destinations we're talking about here. Everybody's watching from everywhere.
Oh, I can't pronounce the name, but thank you for your super chat. I'll try. It's Zolt. That's the best I can do. But thank you for your super chat. And I'm having my first birthday today.
The range, they're ready to support with
I really hope that this rocket is going to launch.
Air in the sea space area. But again,
that would be the best birthday gift for the channel I could have possibly hoped for.
Yeah, you timed this perfectly. You were 1 year ago saying, you know what? This seems like the day to put up start this channel.
Yeah, I called Jim and Elon on a telco, and I told them, guys, you know, you just got to give me that. And they said, yeah.
You know, Elon's really reasonable when it comes to requests like that. You know?
Yeah, actually on Twitter, he's answered to all sorts of requests already. That is absolutely amazing. They ask him if he can make the next Starship pink, and he says, yeah, sure, we're going to do that.
Are you guys in the Elon Musk Twitter reply club?
No, I mean, no. I'm not hunting. I'm not hunting.
As we await T-0 and just
you're the best, man.
I'm just really good at Twitter / I have no life, and I'm on Twitter too long, so...
You're getting 2 thumbs for that.
And really keeping an eye on that.
That is nice.
It would actually be nice if he would, for once, reply. But I'm not gonna hunt him for that.
I'm
that
going
is kind
to
of.
start lobbying him to reply to you.
At the Cape for lift.
Yes. Thank you.
Here's a great little mission overview here.
And a successful launch occurs, we will watch Falcon 9 and Dragon make their ascent until Falcon 9 and
there we go.
first and second stage.
Love these.
And then it's going to start chasing. Yeah, I do too. Actually, on your last episode, you did an absolutely fantastic job with your infographic, by the way. I watched it and I was like, damn, that was really good.
Oh, yeah, man, that was the brilliant work just of
You're seeing some of that
of another fellow Australian. Just awesome work.
Yeah, I saw your tweets about it with him actually, and that's a perfect example for a good collaboration and for helpful people in the community. I have the same on my channel, and it amazes me every time. So many talented and really nice people who want to help you.
Tony's super talented, and thank you, Tony, for all your help. If you happen to be watching, we're going to be retweeting a bunch of graphics as the mission progresses, but I'll be quiet so that we can hear.
Okay, Jay, thanks for the update. We appreciate it.
Copy. So I'll give you some more words in about 6 minutes.
Okay, so it sounds like we're going to find out in about 6 minutes if we're going to have enough time. And John, I was referring to a couple of those weather situations where we have to have a certain amount of time. In this case, with the field mills, about 15 minutes. So they have until about 16 minutes.
Couple of minutes.
Seconds
all right.
Really
thank you, Mark.
Have enough time for that to
thank you, Mark.
So we're going to be listening for that
and
weather
thank you,
update
Orhan.
in just a couple of minutes, but
so
it's going to be a pretty interesting trip uphill
looks like
for them
they
once
have
they get
on their armrest there a
and a
pad
very
with
exciting
different buttons on
countdown
it.
with
They
6
press the one on
minutes
the
to
top
figure
right
out if
to
we
use
are
comms.
launching today. But
saw that too.
Targeting back to what we were talking about, Next, Dragon will make its approach and actually
I
dock
really
with
hope
the
that the
space
weather is
station.
going to do this.
This is a very different process from what we've seen
me
with
too.
Dragon cargo deliveries in the past, which used a process called berthing. Now, berthing requires a spacecraft to approach the
There's
station
venting.
and then stop so a crew member can maneuver the station's robotic arm to capture the spacecraft. Docking on this version of Dragon can be done autonomously.
Wagner, thank you very, very much.
Autonomously with no crew aboard the station. It's typically a faster process,
No, I'm not.
both when arriving and leaving, but
I'm
it
not
does
familiar
still
with
require
wetter. I know
pinpoint
that's
accuracy to
the
approach
German word for weather,
Once captured,
but I'm
the
not familiar with a
spacecraft then
place
gets
called
attached to
wetter.
a common berthing mechanism. It's the same type of port that we use.
Someone's
to connect
asking
to the
on
the
the
G-
chat
onboard
if they
station.
were to
It's a little
lose
bit
an
slower
engine,
process
would
than
they
docking,
abort?
but the hatches are significantly larger than
Probably
docking
not.
ports, which makes
No,
it perfect for bringing up
why
large
should they?
cargo.
8 Falcons,
Dragon will
8
spend
Merlins
up
would
to
be able to
120 days
get it
docked
into
before
space still.
preparing to
So
return
no, they
home.
wouldn't. Not with one
Following
engine.
successful completion of
Yeah.
Dragon's test
And
objectives and
I got a
cargo
question
loading
from
operations, the crew will
Dwagner.
close out the
If the
cabin,
G profile
perform final system checks, and configure
of the Falcon 9,
vehicle
what
for
it is
undocking.
like. So I
Once the
I
automated
saw an
undocking
interview with
sequence is complete,
Doug
Dragon will
Hurley,
complete
and
two
he said
departure
that
burns
the
using
G
its Draco
profile
engines,
for the
pushing
Falcon
it
9 is
away
very
from the
different
space
from
station.
that of the Shuttle, for
And then after
example,
Dragon
which he
departs
rode
the
on.
station, it's ready for
You have
its
more
trip
Gs
home.
on a
And
Falcon
that'll have
9.
deorbit entry
It accelerates
yeah.
faster,
Number
and
of
you
other
have more
operations. If you're looking at
sudden
this
stops,
animation, it might look like we're
and so
playing
the
one we played
astronauts are going to go
originally in reverse,
quite
'cause that's
through the
kind of
ride.
how
I
it
think they're
goes, but
going
just a little
up to
bit
5
quicker.
Gs
All of the operations
on
following the
acceleration.
final
I
departure
think that's the
maneuver
maximum
will
they're
be
getting, and on the
Not
shuttle
that
it was
bad.
more like
closing
3.
that nose
Yeah,
cone
but
again,
it's 2 Gs more than
executing
on the
a
shuttle,
deorbit
so
burn,
you
and
can
once
feel
you're
that.
inside the
It's still
atmosphere,
significant.
deploying
Exactly. It doesn't kill you, of course not. Otherwise, they wouldn't launch people on it. But 5 Gs is 5 Gs.
Teams will move in, get Bob and Doug.
You've been on an F-16 before, right? I saw a crazy picture of you staring out a canopy of a crazy-looking fighter jet.
It was a fighter jet. It was not F-16. It was an L-39. It's a Russian
Right, thanks, Dan. If you're just
jet.
joining us, we are
I
now
filmed a documentary
T-minus
series a
23
couple years
minutes
ago
and
about a
48
guy who owned a
seconds
fleet of fighter
from
jets.
the first launch
and
of astronauts to the International
he
Space
took me up,
Station from U.S. soil in
and
9
I had
years.
my
We're gonna
film
find
camera
out
in
in less
one
than
hand,
4
and I actually
minutes
had
if
this.
the
I was
weather looks
actually
good
in
for
that
and this
picture.
will
I'm
mark
actually
the beginning of a new era where more people.
Okay, I'm
will be
sorry.
able
I
to
thought
fly
she
to
was saying
space
something
than
about the weather. I don't
I'm
want
actually
to.
doing
in fact,
I'm
we
actually
took a
doing
poll
the
a little
barrel
bit
roll.
earlier
My
to
hands
ask
on
you
the stick,
if you had the
and I'm doing
opportunity
it
to fly to space,
in that
would you
picture.
go? And
my left hand has my
86%
camera.
of
I'm
those
holding
who were
onto a
watching answered that
Canon
you would go to
C300 in my
space.
left hand, like an 8-pound
I
camera.
think realizing that you don't have to be a military astronaut or a NASA astronaut.
I'm
to fly
I'm
in
sorry. I'm
space.
so
You can
crazy
be
with
a
the weather
regular
report
civilian,
right now.
just
I
a regular
really
person
want
going
this
off to space
weather,
on a
but that's
SpaceX
an
rocket. So I
absolutely
think
awesome
That's
story.
why the numbers are so high.
Yeah, and,
I would
and we
love
are
to do
really
that.
thrilled to see all the folks watching along online. I know we certainly hope that
That's
this
the
is a
exact
go,
question
but
I was
we're
going to
again,
ask.
we're
What
gonna
are Bob
hear
and
a
Doug
little bit
thinking
of a
right
weather
now?
update in less than 3 minutes now.
Thank you all for the super
And
chats,
Leland,
even if I don't really.
I know they're waiting for a weather update.
Nico,
and they've
David,
come,
Peter, thank you guys.
almost
You
all the way
rock.
down the count.
Off the
What do you think
horizon,
Bob
it
and
looks
Doug are
good,
thinking
man.
about right now?
Like, look at that up there. I mean,
Yeah, it's
by the time they get
insane.
up there, they're going to be above the clouds, way above the clouds.
Weather problems.
It doesn't
and I
look
think
good
we were
though.
getting close to
It
the
looks
countdown.
better. Let's say that.
It seemed like the sky just cleared up right above our heads. We saw it and we knew where we were going. And
Doesn't
we
look like
always
Doug's
know
wearing a
that
watch.
you can have any types of delays, fuel prop delays, all kinds of things that can happen. But we've trained
probably has a
over
big
and over
digital
and over
clock
again
in
for
front of
these
him,
types of
so-
scenarios. And so
Head-up display in
we
the
want to be
helmet.
safe. We want to be safe for our families. And
No, I don't know.
We'll
gonna say, is
do
there a
this
HUD in the
another
helmet?
day if it doesn't.
No, it probably isn't, but it was the most
I love
sci-fi
that
thing that
John
came
I
into my
always
mind.
says weather. It's that thing that everybody talks about, but no
Thanks
one
for the
can do
super chat
anything
there,
about
Jonathan.
it.
I know.
And it is this interesting thing of just, succumbing to Mother Earth. She's going to tell us if
Marcus,
we can
are
go
you
or
streaming
not
too?
today.
Right.
Well, if it happens, I mean,
No,
look at it
no,
this way. Bob and Doug got one really great rehearsal in, right?
It's always best to practice and practice and practice. Yes.
It's an absolutely ridiculously awesome day, and I've hardly been as excited about a launch before in my life. This is absolutely
that, because I know we can't wait to find out what that is. And
this is huge. I was super excited about Falcon Heavy's first flight, but this is another level.
Whether the weather is going to be a showstopper.
Yo, Falcon. Oh yeah, it's true. Falcon Heavy was absolutely awesome as well. Yeah, definitely. But this is just the special thing on top, you know. It's people sitting there. It's
These clouds can seem really deceiving at times, right? You see the blue skies peeking through, and you think everything's fine, but You just
exactly.
don't know.
Yeah.
That's why we have those launch weather officers.
Absolutely, and I know
Recovery
we've talked
zones.
about
That's right.
it before,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. You got to
just
think
the
of
weather
shoots, what
report
it's
of
going to be like
They've
if
gotta
for
look
any
at
reason there wasn't a
weather
abort.
downrange. If they were to have an abort in flight and they needed to come down somewhere in the ocean, they need to consider what
Can I
the
get a
weather
go,
is
no
like
go in the
out
chat?
there, because recovery teams have to go out and get them in a situation like
That's
that.
a good idea,
So
actually.
there's so
Give us
many
a go,
variables,
no
and
go.
that's
Go, no
why,
go, guys, in the chat
not
right
just
now.
with this flight, but
T
with
minus
every
20.
human space flight we've had in the past, there's always a very good chance.
The moderators,
of
of course, are
scrub
going to watch the
because-
people who say no go.
Yeah. If you say no go,
because you do
go,
have so much
you go.
criteria.
We're go. We're go. Look at that chat.
We
And we're gonna
definitely go
listen
by
in
looks
now.
of
We're
that.
just
All
seconds
right.
away from
Thank you, Apo, by
a
the way,
weather
before you
update.
disappear in all those go. And Crowdine style. It's too fast.
Engage. We've got a few Star Trekkies in there as well.
Yep. Make it so.
Okay. No.
That is liquid oxygen you see venting off the rocket. That's completely normal and expected. We're standing by for a weather update.
Unless you can give us another 10 minutes, I don't think we're going to get there
No.
with any of the rules today.
I'm going to give you 10 minutes.
I mean, another 10 minutes past T0.
Oh,
1645 local. I think we'll probably be clear on all the rules, but not quite going to make it for this.
Okay. We're going to check back in with you about
Yep.
2 minutes,
Below.
and then I'll call it up at about T-minus 17 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, there's some of them are starting to count down, but we still have one above
Yeah,
2,000.
okay.
So if that gets below,
Doesn't sound great.
Whatever they were saying, they pulled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded to me like that too. It didn't sound like they
didn't
are
sound great
still
right
making
there.
a
That
final
was the weather
decision.
net
It
going
sounded
out,
to
but
me
we're
like they
still
are
standing
still
by
thinking
for a
about
final
maybe with a slight chance not taking that final decision that they've already made.
It sounded a little like that to me. It definitely sounded like a scrub that's probably being talked about internally right now. We'll see in a minute.
They're probably like, the president and the vice president flew here, right? Yes. Still scrub.
Yeah, there are two more important people here.
I concur.
There might not be many more, but there are two.
And we're going to continue to listen in for an update, but in the meantime, we're going to go over to John Innsbrucker at SpaceX headquarters in California. John?
And Dragon SpaceX on weather. We're still
T-minus 18 minutes and counting.
LD is
we are still red
some
on weather.
Yeah, the weather officer will be
We're
not
waiting in
optimistic.
about another minute for one final check with weather. We're going to check at
Okay,
T-minus
go ahead and
17
copy.
minutes possibly. We don't really expect that things will have improved. The weather officer was not optimistic that the weather would clear up that rapidly.
That's right, you can't move it by 10 minutes.
Director Mike Taylor joked that if we could
window.
move 10 more minutes past the T0, weather conditions may improve, but Mike was not able to do that. We have an instantaneous window today.
So for
So at
folks
17
asking,
minutes, we want to make that call because shortly after that, we will begin loading liquid oxygen onto the second stage. So if we're not going to have the opportunity to launch, if the clock's going to run out, stand by.
Continue to violate a couple different rules that
well, look,
we now
safety
do not
first.
expect to clear in time to allow for a launch today. Go ahead.
Safety first. Oh, that's a bummer. But
launch control. Go ahead and the launch auto sequence and proceed into the launch abort auto sequence, please.
they took it down to T-minus 16.
Launch abort has started.
Almost T-minus 17. Almost. Boy.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
And Dragon SpaceX, unfortunately,
It's a good training.
We are not going to launch today.
Yeah.
You are go for 5.100 launch scrub.
All right. Yeah, we're officially scrubbed.
5.100. It was a good effort by the
asking,
teams, and we understand, and we'll meet you there.
So for folks asking, the backup date is
We've heard
Saturday,
the call from the
about
crew. They have
23
been
minutes
informed. Launch director
after
Mike
an hour
Taylor,
earlier.
It's an hour
has
earlier?
called
I think
a
it's an
scrub for
hour,
the day,
almost an hour
and
earlier.
we got the feedback
You realize
when
that means I've got to get up
the
even
Dragon
earlier.
team
Yeah,
informed
and you
Bob
got
and
it.
Doug. They
Marcus,
said we gave it a
you
good
got
try,
it. You got
if
to
they
do this again.
understand.
This is absolutely
And,
awesome.
we
I'm
are
so glad that
another
you made
day.
it. I'm seriously super glad
So
you
right
made
now
it.
we did
Yeah, no, thanks,
officially
mate.
hold
No,
the
I'll
clock.
try
It looks
to.
like a
I'll
T
try to
minus
get there. I'll
16
definitely be
minutes,
watching
54
one way or another.
seconds.
Earlier.
As long as
You
my
gotta get
internet
up.
Launch
holding up.
automatic sequence.
You
that
gotta get up at 3
controls
in the morning.
Falcon 9.
Yep, exactly.
Man, well, everybody, we're so sorry, but that's weather. That's space for you. Gotta take safety first here, you know?
Yeah, I'm just gonna instantly set up the reminder after I've done the after party. I'm gonna set up the reminder for Saturday, and we're gonna do this again. That's the way it is.
Yep, that's all you can ask. Well, I don't know. It's probably gonna take them another 20 minutes or so to get them out of there.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Maybe even longer.
Yeah, because they probably need to empty the stage 1 tanks to a certain point before they bring the crew. They can actually start making moves with the crew access arm and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see the order they do that. It's something I haven't seen before, obviously, none of us have with a Falcon 9.
Yeah, post scrub operations. There we go.
Yeah, I feel like for a cargo or Starlink or something, they probably would have gone through this, but not with crew.
You really got to turn off that countdown, or I'm gonna cry here. It's still going down, and I looked at it and I was like, this would have been so good. You can leave the rotating. Oh no, that's gone too. Okay.
Okay, I'll bring Dragon. I'll bring the Dragon back, but I'll shut down the.
Okay. Could you do one thing for me? Because there have been a lot of people joining again, and I'm. Could you show that anniversary trailer again?
Yeah, of course. We can end.
It's gonna bump us up, and nothing's gonna happen there anyway right now. So crank up the volume. That's my anniversary gift.
And thanks for everyone being here. It's awesome seeing all these chats coming through. It really is.
It is.
Over 5,000 people we had here for a long time. That's a lot of people.
Amazing.
Even for me, this is a high. We got the 645. So.
Yeah.
Woo! Thank you.
Hey, everyone remember as well to hit the like button on that as well. It just allows this video to get shared after it goes live.
Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell your mom about us. Everybody. Well, hey, here, we're going to throw to Felix's celebration video really quick here. 3, 2, 1.
My name's Felix, and I am your host for today's episode of What About It? So let's dive right into the exciting news topics. Let's dive right in. Right in. Starship update. Right in. Let's dive right in. Right in. Let's dive right in.
To come off of the Falcon 9, and
Now that was epic.
Yeah, very, very epic.
Very epic.
And
Congratulations,
now my
Felix.
microphone is.
It's
Yeah,
just
I had my
awesome.
microphone muted. Thank you, guys. It was lots of fun doing that video and going through all these episodes again that I did in the last year, and bam, absolutely incredible. And that's all because of these people on the chat and hundreds of thousands of others.
It's a very humbling thing, I will say, to have people that tune in to watch our content when it comes down to it. It really is. It blows my mind every day, every week, and can't thank the entire audience enough for the support. Of course, of your channel and TJ's channel, my own channel, but just the support of the entire space industry. It's actually everybody as a collective that really brings this to the forefront of where it should be in the media, and it doesn't get enough attention, and it needs to get more attention. So thank you everybody for sharing this stuff and talking about it, even if it's just around a water cooler. This stuff is exciting. It's extremely exciting, and to think that we could be back on the moon again, moving forwards to Mars. This is the stuff that inspires us. It's certainly the stuff that inspires me. So I just, I can't thank the audience enough. We couldn't do it without the audience, obviously.
Nope. You rock, people. You rock. Absolutely. Listen to what Marcus said.
So that was a little disappointing today to see a scrub. It's certainly
3:22 p.m. on Saturday. I researched it while we were watching the trailer. 3:22 p.m. on Saturday is the new date and the new time, and I'm going to be here, and TJ is going to be here, and Marcus has to be here now because we're going to make him here.
Yeah,
be here.
I can't always guarantee my connection, but I will try very hard to be here as well.
Hey, I have no I'm not disappointed at all in your connection. It's as if you're next door.
That's great. Well, that's good.
It is actually surprisingly good. There was a really slight hiccup, funny enough, all the way in the beginning when you popped in and you said there could be hiccups. Exactly in the moment when you said it, there was a hiccup, but that's it. So don't talk about it anymore, and it's all fine.
Yeah, great. No, that sounds good. I think I have done a bit of an upgrade on my upload speed, so that will hopefully help a little. I'm actually getting quite a bit of buffering down, which is interesting, but I seem to be okay streaming up right now.
Absolutely,
so that's
all
good.
fine. Yeah.
So what now? What are we going to talk about?
Well, we're going to watch them unload the propellant, and they already have the crew arms not attached yet, I think.
I'm trying to see if it's moving. If it is, it's very slow.
Yeah, it's not attached yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's moving. Bummer.
So we're going to see what did they call it? The post scrub operations. And once they're done with that, I'm going to vote party. I'm going to be right back for around probably 10 minutes or so because I got to go to the bathroom. And after that, yeah, a while. And after that, we're going to have a nice stream like leading out this really, really exciting day that led up to a scrub, but nonetheless was an absolutely epic evening. And I'm actually really happy due to the scrub we're going to do this again, and it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I worked out a lot of the kinks on the fly, but they were worked
on
out.
The fly.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody's patience. Marcus, you came in at the perfect time when I had them worked out, so you look really good.
I was going to say, it all seemed fine to me.
Everything worked, right? Yeah, you didn't see Amy and Emily, but Emily actually was already much better than Amy.
Yeah.
So we worked our way up, and you did a beautiful job. Like everybody, seriously, he did this. He approached me saying, "I got this epic project. I'm gonna get so many people in. I don't know really how this is gonna work, but I know how I'm gonna do this." And you actually did, and it's absolutely awesome, absolutely fantastic.
And yeah, I'm a little saddened to have not crossed over a little with Amy. I actually haven't spoken to Amy since she visited Tasmania. She was actually down in a little city, a little town called Ulverston, down in Tasmania, and spoke to her for the first time. And that was before I was really on YouTube much. So yeah, she wouldn't have known who I was.
Wow.
So yeah, no, it's very cool. Sad I missed her. Hopefully next time.
They both gave us really, really good answers. They are doing an awesome job. If anybody here on the stream doesn't know who Emily or Amy are, go check out their channels, go check out their content. Emily is especially really nice to follow Emily on Twitter because she's really, really active there, and she does an awesome job of finding the interesting stuff. And so yeah, they are both.
That's it, and Amy obviously from Vintage Space YouTube channel, and also just writes incredible books. I've got one of them over here on my bookshelf actually. And,
you got it too. I'm the only guy who doesn't. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's a really great book. And she does a wonderful job of explaining the history of especially the Apollo program and how it all evolved. It's just a great read.
Breaking the Chains of Gravity, that one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
Awesome. I only have Robert Heinlein.
Yeah, no, it's just brilliant work, and you know, Amy's huge compared to myself here on YouTube, but just beautiful content all the time.
Yep. Definitely. I had a lot of super chats again, and I'm really, really sorry. SGFX, thank you. Better luck Saturday, exactly. Jimmy and Itzel O'Connor. And he agrees to, or they agree to what you said. Absolutely awesome. Forrest Page, great job from Gibson Page and Forrest.
Those names ring a bell.
Yes.
Hi guys.
I don't know. Thank you for the super chats. And anybody I might have forgotten. Like I said 10 times now, this is a special stream today. I'm doing this with two other guys, and we're managing a lot of stuff. So it could actually be that I missed a few, but I thank you very, very much. All of this is going to go into the funding for the 4K camera, which is closer thanks to today, which is absolutely awesome because I really want that thing. It's the next big update for the studio.
And we, none of us intend on missing any of the super chats and comments that are coming through. There's just such a volume of that, as well as trying to concentrate on everything that's going on. So yes, thanks everybody for your patience, and we love interacting with you when we can find a spare second to glance over at the comments that are flying through.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to when we do this for a Starship launch.
Definitely. Like I said, wasn't that even before we started the stream when I said, imagine when we get the live feed from the Starship traveling towards Mars, and we're doing a stream about that. I'm so looking forward to the future that's still to come if all this works out, especially if the Starship works out. This is going to change everything.
I use that exact term all the time, and it will literally. People think I'm exaggerating when I say that it'll change everything. But if you lower the cost, if you lower that mass to orbit cost by orders of magnitude, like we're talking, and it's actually multiple orders of magnitude at this point that they're talking at the moment. It will change everything. There's nothing that we can't do if you can get the cost to orbit that low. We can just chuck anything up there, big or small, doesn't matter what, and that is going to quite literally change the way we can, we can move around, even not just our solar system, but even further. And the amount of research, the amount of research, the amount of infrastructure that can come of it. As soon as you start doing things like mining asteroids and all these sorts of things, from a commercial point of view, it will fund itself. It doesn't have to be government funded anymore.
That's what I wanted to say exactly. If it goes so low kilogram price per kilogram to orbit, people will actually be interested in doing something up there because it becomes feasible, because it becomes profitable.
Yes,
and that is going to spark stuff we right now only see in science fiction.
Yeah, and you don't have to spend, $200 million trying to ensure that you've got something just right. You can send a few demo ones up. It doesn't matter if they fail. You can actually do this rapid iteration. Whereas at the moment, if you want to send up a telescope, you better work on the damn thing for 20 years? because you can't afford for it to fail. You've got to cover every single checkpoint, and there's a lot of risk in that right now. James Webb, obviously, the investment in James Webb is just colossal. And
especially James Webb. On one hand, I'm really looking forward to the launch. On the other hand, though, I'm really not looking forward to the 6 months of deployment after it, where you constantly have to wait for them to tell you, oh, this didn't work, so the whole mission is gone.
That's exactly
and then we're
right.
going to wait another 20 years. Oh my God, that would be so bad. I'm really hoping that thing's going to deploy. That's the biggest problem here.
And that's exactly right. The amount of research and time and testing in that deployment mechanism, because they can't fit it into something as massive as a Starship. That alone has cost many years of time to try to make a great way of unfolding this thing so that it's going to give the appropriate resolution at the same time as being deployable in this way. And to think about what it would mean if you could launch something like this on a Starship that's 9 meters wide, or even a future vessel that's even wider than that again. I mean, I know there's been talk about 12 and 18 meter diameters. Like, I mean, they're just stupidly beyond my comprehension of what's possible to launch. But if they can do that and they can do it well, then it really does change everything. You design a telescope that's 9 meters. It doesn't have to deploy. It's just a huge mirror. It's just going to blow everyone's mind what we'll be capable of as soon as the Starship is a reusable thing that's cheap to run. And look, I do get a little bit of some question marks around that stuff about whether it's really going to be possible to re-enter, do these skydiver maneuvers to come and land and that sort of thing. And sure, it's something that's definitely untested, and it's going to be a first in many ways. But if they can pull this off, and that's why we're so excited and why we're covering it, both you and I, Felix, we're covering it very closely each week. Me probably to a slightly lesser extent. I got a little bit less time, but it really does create a lot of enthusiasm, I think, and we can see that from the metrics when we see people watching this stuff. So thank you, everybody. And sorry, I've just been banging on for a while now.
We hit a topic here, right? You can't tell that we love the Starship, do you?
I just can't wait for everything 4 to fly. Like, I know, I'm still very interested to see how it's going to do it with an offset engine. To me, that is the thing that really intrigues me. I don't know if they're going to somehow counterbalance that in a way we haven't yet spotted.
Maybe with the binoculars. I've got them spotted.
Something we can feel good about.
I'm going to have that on the next episode. I'm sorry.
Something we can feel good about. I'm looking at Twitter nationwide. The top 4 topics are Launch America, SpaceX, SpaceX Dragon, Space Launch Live. Then number 7 is Elon Musk, and then number 10 is Scrubbed. So
TJ.
Yeah.
Cooper.
6 of the 10 trending topics across at least the United States is SpaceX.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. That's what makes me so excited about being able to present this stuff. Like, you can see the audience growing every week, and you can see the enthusiasm growing every week. And sure, there's going to be ebbs and flows of this stuff. Obviously, this is a huge mission. But yeah, let's just hope that everybody sees that same amount of enthusiasm as we see these Starship demo launches and things coming up. It's going to be incredible to watch this roll out.
It is spreading. This afternoon we're totally going about the Starship right now, even though we're on a Crew Dragon launch here. It's not attached yet, though, isn't it? There's nothing that they're not getting out of this yet.
I can't see anything.
It's probably going to take a little longer.
I think I saw it when they were actually zoomed out a little. I could see roughly that it looked like it was probably two-thirds detanked.
Yeah, exactly. So what I was about to say is I was cutting the grass outside this afternoon in the sun, and the neighbor came over to the fence, and we talked a little bit, and he said, "Oh, this is going to be an important evening for you, isn't it?" Because he knows that I do this YouTube channel about space.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, and the whole world is watching, and that's the amazing thing. He never knew anything about. He's just not the person who's into this as we are, but even he knew that tonight Crew Dragon is launching, and that tonight is an important thing, and that tonight you should watch. And it might be that he's watching the stream right now. I gave him a link, and if you are watching, I hope you enjoyed. Even though there was no launch, the launch is going to be on Saturday now. But that tells us something, that it's the same effect as with Apollo back then. Everybody was watching, not only the people who are really interested in injector plates, but basically everybody. And the same thing is happening right now with Crew Dragon, and the same thing is gonna happen when the starships launch from Mars. The whole world is gonna watch this. This is gonna be fantastic.
It's going to be huge. It feels like, obviously, I missed the Apollo missions, a little too young for that. So for me, it's a first. And to go
it's the Neil Armstrong moment, exactly.
It is.
I'm
getting back
looking forward to it. Yeah.
It's just going to be incredible. And, you've been to the sites yourself, in the museums, checking out the Apollo, the Saturn V. It is just incredible to think that was all achieved so long ago, and we've not even come close to achieving that again at this point. It's humbling. We are working on it. We're working on it very quickly, and it's great to see the race starting up again.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody was asking in the chat right now here, is it canceled? It is not canceled. It is scrubbed, and it's going to launch on Saturday. Cancel would be terrible. Scrub just means the weather didn't want us to launch today, and the two guys in the capsule there are really, really important, and so they didn't take the risk, basically, which is totally fine. But it's going to launch on Saturday, 3:22 p.m. Eastern time. That's the new. That's the new launch time, and we're definitely, of course. Exactly, and we're of course definitely. You're going to see exactly the three guys that you see here are going to be here again, cheering for the rocket. And if that is getting scrubbed, we're going to be sitting here again on Sunday.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And I'm already looking forward to it.
Oh man! Well, gentlemen, I do have to go. This has been an awesome experience. I cannot thank you enough for joining me. And
absolutely.
Huge thank you to you, TJ. It's been awesome. Because I had no idea how this stuff worked either. I hardly ever live stream just because of the risk behind some of my connection stuff. So thank you for your knowledge and skill in it. Late last night when I was trying to figure out how I was going to join this thing. Really appreciate it, mate. That's great.
Open up Pandora's box, man. So let's do it again. This just required some noodling, but we can totally make it happen on your channel and others. So I want to make this bigger and better every time. So
yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
You're like Elon Musk.
Yeah, I'll try. I don't know about that. The Elon Musk of live streaming at home.
Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Like I said, 3 or 4 times in the stream. My stream is going to continue, but I'll be. My stream will be offline for like 10 minutes, and then it'll be pop on again, because I'm going to let the music play meanwhile, because I really need to go to the bathroom, and that's what I'm going to do. And after that, we're going to have anybody's welcome. We're going to have an after party. I'll do, of course, a Q&A. I'll answer. Hopefully a lot of questions, good ones, hopefully about the channel, about what I've done in the last year and stuff like that, because it's my anniversary. And so, yeah, I'm going to switch streams and take 10 minutes off, and then we'll continue there.
And before we close, I do want to say, if you're watching my stream, please go subscribe to youtube.com/whataboutit and youtube.com/MarcusHouseGames. Is that what it is?
Yeah, or just Google Marcus House, you'll find me there.
Google Marcus House. Both of these guys create weekly, amazing, in-depth like SpaceX and space news videos, so they're integral in like just keeping me up to date. I am on the opposite spectrum of trying to do deep dives into different subject matter that you may not have even thought you wanted to know about. So, anyways, go subscribe to them. I cannot thank you both enough for joining. And
of course to DJ as well.
Exactly.
I need more space. Yeah, definitely. It's
very important. Subscribe.
Great content as well. And thank you again for setting all this up, mate.
Awesome.
You're the best.
All right, fellas, go get some rest.
Yeah, well, I've had rest. I've got to basically go and get kids ready for school and go to work, go to my other job. So yes.
All right,
have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here. Let's look forward to doing it again on the weekend sometime, assuming that everything stays okay weather-wise.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
Let's hope so. The weather is about to improve.
Bye.
No worries. See you guys.
Bye.